The Chicago White Sox versus the California Angels. In the opener of this four-game set on Thursday night, it was a 39-year-old veteran, Reggie Jackson, in that familiar setting. Bases loaded, bottom of the ninth, 2 out, 1-1 tie. There's the base hit that won it by a score of 2-1 for California. Then last evening, it was a 40-year-old veteran, Tom Seaver, the future Hall of Famer, on the road to 300 victories, as he gave up 2 unearned runs in the first inning. Then it was Katie Bartador after that. Seaver picking up career victory number 295. The standings in the West, the White Sox on top by half a game in front of the Angels. So this afternoon, they will tee it up for first place in the American League West.
NBC Sports presents the Major League Baseball Game of the Week. Today from Anaheim Stadium, it's the Chicago White Sox versus the California Angels. The Game of the Week is brought to you by light beer from Miller. Everything you've always wanted in a beer, and less. By Ford, who invites you to drive the new Ford Escort. Have you driven a Ford lately? By AFTA. Aftershave Skin Conditioner by Menon. And by Gatorade Thirst Quencher. Gatorade is thirst aid for that deep down body thirst.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Big A in Anaheim. I'm Ken Harrelson. My partner, Joe Torre, will be along momentarily. But a beautiful, sunny Southern California day, as you can see. And this afternoon's game will be for first place for the American League West. And this afternoon for the Sox, it'll be the left-hander Floyd Bannister on the hill. And for the California Angels, it'll be the former hockey player Kirk McCaskill. And Tom Seaver last night with career victory number 295. My partner Joe Torre is on the other side of the field talking with Tommy. So let's go over and join him.
Tom, what's going on? I mean, you're 40 years old, and you won number 295 last night the same way you won number 1 with power.
Well, I felt like I've had a good fastball coming on, Joe, the last month or so. In the last 2 or 3 games, I've had a decent fastball in spots. And last night was really the first time all year where I felt I had a good fastball from the first inning until all the way through the 7th inning. And I've worked at it to get it out. You know, an old piece of advice I had got my first year: if you have a fastball, you have to throw it to keep it, and that's the only way you're going to get it out of your body.
Well, now that you got your ball club back on top, who do you feel your competition is going to come from in the West?
Well, certainly this ball club, the Angels. Kansas City's got a good ball club. Minnesota proved that they were a winning ball club last year. So, you know, we still have, what, 3.5 months to go or whatever. It's a long ways, but I think there'll probably be three or four teams at the end ready to battle it out.
You're still a politician, right?
Oh, yes, yeah. You never win any pennants in June, you know that.
Thanks, Tom. We'll be back right after this message.
Good afternoon. This is Tony La Russa with the White Sox lineup this afternoon against the Angels. Leading off is last night's hero. It's Rudy Law in left field. Had a big RBI, a big assist at the plate. Our second hitter is our most consistent player so far. It's Tim Hewlett at third base. Our third and fourth hitters are Harold Baines and Greg Walker in right field and first base. I think as good a 1-2 punch from the left side as anybody in the American League. Our fifth hitter is Carlton Fisk, our catcher. You're going to hear a lot about his offense this afternoon, but I want to tell you about his defense. He's never played better than he has this year for us. Our sixth hitters are DH Oscar Gamble. Our seventh hitters are center fielder Darrell Boston, probably the best athlete on our club. Gotten a lot of big hits on this road trip. Eighth and ninth is our keystone combination. Julio Cruz at second, Ozzie Guillen at short. Probably make the double play as well as anybody you're going to see in our league. And our pitcher, Floyd Bannister, who's been on a real roll for us lately.
And there's Kirk McCaskill, who will be facing Tony La Russa's Sox. McCaskill's 4-1 with a 5 earned run average. Won his first major league game on last Monday night. The thing that Kirk has to do is to stay ahead of the hitters. He's going to have to go after the hitters, and this we'll find out early on. And let's take a look at Kirk McCaskill, who was drafted by the Winnipeg Jets of the NHL. Now let's look at the Angels defense behind McCaskill. Doing the catching, Bob Boone. At first base, Juan Benitez. The Sox killer at second, Bobby Grich. Dick Schofield is the shortstop. Doug DeCinces is at third. In left field, it's Brian Downing. In center field, the guy who can really go get him, Gary Pettis. And in right field, instead of Reggie Jackson, who will be DHing, will be Mike Brown.
And we'd like to extend a special welcome to our viewers down in Atlanta who are expecting to see the Tiger and the Yankee game, but we felt like that they'd like to get a look and hear one of their favorite citizens right there, Joe Torre, as Kirk McCaskill out there taking his warm-up tosses. That graphic was wrong. Kirk McCaskill is not 4-1. He is 1-4. So McCaskill, 24 years old, 6'1", 195 pounds, out of Burlington, Vermont. And, Joe, you know, one of the things that, before we get right into the game right now, two similar ball clubs in a lot of respects. I think you'd have to give the edge to the starting pitching in the Sox. The bullpen's about even because of Donnie Moore for the Angels, and then the big, hard-throwing right-hander, Bob James, who has 15 saves for the Chicago White Sox. But on the other hand, both clubs, the Angels have walked 104 more times this year, even though they have the lowest batting average in the American League. And that man right there has been able to do it with spit and Baylor for the most part.
Right on the head, Hawk. Yeah, they've won a lot of one-run ball games. Gene Mauch, I said to him before the game, I said, you don't have the luxury of other managers to let them go out and play and win for you. He has to do a lot of manipulating. He's had a lot of guys on a disabled list, and he has had to manage. He goes 100 miles an hour anyway.
Of course, his counterpart, the young fella, just 40 years old, just turned 40. Tony La Russa over there has done an outstanding job with his ball club. He now has, for the first time, some depth, some switch hitting, so to speak, that he can platoon with. And now he can run different lineups out there, and he can do things that he has not been able to in the past years in the 7th, 8th, and 9th innings. But right here, McCaskill has concluded his warm-up tosses. For the Sox, it'll be Law, Hewlett, and Baines in this game this afternoon for first place in the American League West. Law coming in hitting a .243, 2 homers, 15 RBIs, and plenty of speed. There's a strike in and over. Umpires, Dale Ford behind the plate, John Hirschbeck at first, Larry Barnett, the crew chief at second, and over at third, the big man, Kenny Kaiser.
He covers third and part of short.
Breaking ball down low, and the count evens up at 1. Law, born in Waco, Texas, 28 years old, as there's Kenny. What a guy. I'll tell you what, he's a piece of work. Off-speed pitch outside, and the count moves to 2-1. Rudy Law, good fastball hitter. And in the first 2 games of this big 4-game set here at the Big A in Anaheim, Angel pitchers have been trying to go at him with the all-speed stuff. There's a chopper right back through the middle. Nobody's going to be able to get that one. So Rudy Law leads it off with a base hit. He has 10 stolen bases in 13 attempts this year.
Batting second, number 32, third baseman, Tim Hewlett.
That'll bring up the third baseman, Timmy Hewlett. Hewlett has really done a job for the White Sox, coming in hitting at .322, 2 homers, 15 RBIs. 25 years old, out of Springfield, Illinois. Timmy's hitting 4 of his last 5 ball games. He can move the ball all around, and with the speed of Law at first, you might see a little action here right off the bat.
Well, you know that Tony's going to want to put pressure on the Angels because, you know, they're struggling a little bit.
McCaskill, we understand, Joe, you cover the Angels all season, has a decent move over the first.
He's got a decent move again, but Bob Boone, his catcher, says he can see the intensity coming out of him after something happens bad, you know, and sometimes that's too late. So he's trying to get Kirk to go after the hitters right from the get-go.
Well, I would imagine that has something to do with that hockey background. Big gap in left center field is Gary Pettis playing over towards Mike Brown in right. Ryan Downing straight away in left. So a lot of room out there between Pettis and Downing. DeCinces in close at third. Curveball outside, and the count 1-0. Hewlett will give that long look down to third base coach Jimmy Leland. What a beautiful afternoon. There's Jimmy. A little closer play, as that's just I want you to know I'm thinking about your toss over to first. A little better move. Quick feet.
I think it's important for a pitcher not necessarily throw over all the time, Hawk, but to let people know that you know they're over there. And we'll take a look at McCaskill's so-called balk move. Real quick feet, and got to make sure you step over there. That was close.
Those both knees breaking. They called one last night against the Angels. There goes Law. Hit and run. Little flare hit out into right field. Mike Brown moves over. He has plenty of room as Law will get back in, and there's one out. So with one gone, Law at first. That'll bring up the right fielder, Harold Baines. Baines has done a job this year. Got off to a terrific start, but has slowed up. Starting to come out of it again. In his last 51 at-bats, has 16 hits. So the numbers on him. 271, 4 homers, 27 RBIs. Pretty good move by McCaskill.
And you talk about numbers. He's put 3 years together for home runs, 25, 20, and 29, that can make a manager smile.
Well, he's a notorious slow starter. This year he came down to his. Rudy Law takes off. That ball goes right by Bob Boone. Don't know if he was crossed up or not. It'll be a pass ball and a stolen base.
Well, you don't
stolen base, excuse me.
You don't see that happen too much, Hawk, with Bob Boone back there, just like Carlton Fisk. They're both great defensive catchers, but that ball, he just seemed to lose it. It just seemed to get right by him.
Well, he's had a little trouble this year. Last year had a good season throwing out runners. He's thrown out 12 of now the 34 attempted base stealers this season. And that's the 6th in a row. So Law in scoring position. No score, top of the first inning. There's a strike with a fastball, and the count evens up at 1. But talking about Baines, he came down to spring training this year 2 weeks early to try to get in a little better shape to get a faster start, and indeed he did. There's Schofield sneaking in behind Law, and you see Dick right there taking a page out of the book of Bobby Grich, putting that knee down in front of the bag, trying to block him out.
So you try to block him out. As long as you have the ball, you can do that, Hawk. You need to have the ball. And Schofield went down and tried to do it simultaneously, but didn't get the call.
Bobby Grich is the best I have ever seen at that.
Pretty good chance he taught him then.
Exactly. Playing side by side. Goes through the heat. 1-2 the count. Good fastball by McCaskill.
He has got a live fastball. It's not straight. It's live. And he gets into the habit of trying to pick corners a little bit too much instead of letting that fastball get in there and play on its own.
Big hack by Baines. Count hangs at 1-2. Angel outfield deep. Here at the Big A in Anaheim, 330 down each line, 362 in the short power alley in left center, 370 out a little further in left center, and 404 straight away. And since they have enclosed this ballpark, especially during the day, it has become a good hitter's park. Just outside, the count evens up at 2. Series, and it was billed as an exciting series, and indeed it has been that. Angels winning 2-1 on Thursday night. Tom Seaver winning last night for the White Sox. Got him. A quick slider right there from McCaskill. And with 2 gone, that'll bring up the big first baseman, Greg Walker. He hit a tremendous home run last evening to tie that ball game up for the White Sox. Walker with the 9 home runs, 34 RBIs, just 25 years old, and he's a thoroughbred. Curveball down and in. Carlton Fisk, the on-deck hitter. So they will pitch in this situation a little carefully to Mr. Walker, even though Carlton is tied for the league lead in home runs. There's the curveball. Started it outside, brought it over the outer half, and the count evens up at 1. Greg out of Douglas, Georgia, 6'3", 210 pounds. High with a fastball, and the count moves to 2-1.
You know, you pitch with a base open. It's not the same, Hawk, pitching with a base open in the first inning as opposed to the 6th or 7th. You want to stay away from big innings, and Gene Mauch is thinking that right now.
Well, you certainly don't want to intentionally go ahead, but what you want to do in that situation is it just gives you a little more leeway because you've got 6 pitches in order to make a couple of good ones. Now, if you can get him to hit your pitch, fine. But it really doesn't break your heart if you give it a good effort and just miss, and he does go to first base, especially with a right-hander on deck. 3-1 pitch. A high ball 4, and indeed they do go around him a little bit. So McCaskill with a strikeout and a walk, and that'll bring up the 37-year-old veteran Carlton Fisk, and what a year he is having.
Catcher, Carlton.
Fisk coming in hitting .269, 15 homers, 39 RBIs, and those 15 homers have not been wasted.
I tell you, you talk about pitching around the left hand to get to the right hand. This guy happens to be leading the league in hitting and home runs. This particular right-hander, 11 of Fisk's 15 home runs have tied the score or have given the Sox the lead.
Yes, sir. He has made the best use of them. And as Tony La Russa talked about giving the lineups, he is bouncing around behind that plate better than he has in years. That curveball misses in the count 1-0. There you see the graphic on Kirk. 1-4 in his rookie season in the American League.
And it took him 8 starts to get that first major league win. He finally fought his way through it last Monday night.
Ooh, he hung one and got away with it. A ball and a strike to Fisk. Carlton having some problems with that left side. He has been hit 4 times in the last week. He was hit last night. And it almost, well, it was close to starting a little something. Ron Romanek hit him in that left shoulder blade where he was hit in Seattle earlier by Matt Young. And then, of course, when Bob Boone led off the next inning, Seaver drilled Boone. That's outside, quick breaking pitch, and the count now 2-1. So McCaskill, as Joe Torre was mentioning earlier, trying to nibble a little bit.
And this is the situation that he has to be able to get the breaking ball over, because you know, you start laying on fastballs 2-0, 3-1, and he doesn't throw hard enough to be able to throw you the fastball when he gets behind.
Up high with a fastball, and the count now 3-1. So Fisk indeed got himself in a pretty good situation. Law at second, Walker at first, 2 gone, top of the first inning. This is where Carlton will just, in his own mind, zone it in. He's seen now 5 pitches from McCaskill. Ball 4. So that'll load him up for the 35-year-old veteran Oscar Gamble.
Number 0, designated hitter, Oscar Gamble.
Well, Gene Mauch is sending Marcel Latchman out to tell McCaskill something specific, because if you noticed, he had Latchman stay in the dugout until he finished telling him. But I know Gene Mauch right now, after last night's loss, coming back with a day game right now and watching your young pitcher pitch around the left-hand hitter, pitch around the league-leading home run hitter, only to get a guy like Oscar Gamble, who loves to hit that first ball and fastball up to the plate with the bases loaded and no place to put him. You know your stomach is churning, and that acid is ripping a hole through your stomach right now.
And indeed, Oscar is a first ball, fastball, low fastball hitter. Oscar off to a slow start with base hits, but he has 3 homers, 10 RBIs. Lifetime against California, .328 hitter, 16 homers, and 50 ribbies. There's a curveball low.
And it would not surprise me one bit if Mauch's advice or orders was to throw him a breaking ball for his pitch, in spite of walking the 2 guys before him.
Just catches the outside corner. Nice pitch by McCaskill, and the count evens up at 1. Bases loaded, full of White Sox. Law at third, Walker at second, Fisk at first. watch out. Foul. All right, everybody's okay. And the count moves to 1-2. Oscar looked like he was looking for something off speed right there. Very tardy with that heat.
When you get up in those 30s, those day games after night games give you about 2 innings to leave yourself a wake-up call.
You know, drink so much coffee, huh? Got him right down the middle. Oscar Gamble doesn't like it. So McCaskill gets in a jam and pitches out of it. Nothing across for the Sox. And after a half inning of play, it's a White Sox nothing. The Angels. Well, there you see the Angel batting order. This is the way they will tee it up against the left-hander Floyd Bannister. Leading off playing left field, it'll be Brian Downing. Juan Beniquez will bat second, play first base. Doug DeCinces, the veteran, at third. The cleanup hitter, the second baseman, Bobby Grich. Mike Brown will bat fifth. He'll be in right field. The catcher, the 37-year-old veteran, Bob Boone. Designated hitter this afternoon, hitting seventh, Reggie Jackson. Dick Schofield will bat eighth and be the shortstop, and batting ninth, the switch-hitting center fielder, Gary Pettis. On the mound for the Sox, 30-year-old southpaw Floyd Bannister. Bannister, out of Pierre, South Dakota, now resides in Scottsdale, Arizona, making his 13th start of the year. He's won 5 of his last 6. He went 5 innings his last start. That was against Seattle. And then he had blister trouble. But Floyd, talking to him before the game, said he does not think those blisters are going to give him any problems at all.
Now let's set the defense for the Chicago White Sox. Catching Mr. Bannister will be Carlton Fisk. At first base, Greg Walker. Julio Cruz at second base. Ozzie Guillen is short. Tim Hewlett, third base. The left fielder is Rudy Law. Darrell Boston stationed in center. And Harold Baines in right field.
A lot of speed in the White Sox outfield. They can cover a lot of ground when you're talking about Law in left, Boston in center, Baines in right, and of course up the middle, the good speed of Julio Cruz at second. Good double play combination of Cruz and Ozzie Guillen. Ozzie pronounces his name Guillen. I don't know if it's his accent or what. I said, Ozzie, you don't mind if we just go ahead and say Guillen? He said, no, go ahead. He's only 21 years old, out of Venezuela. What a personality.
He introduced himself to me. He must be catching on. He introduced himself as Guillen today.
Oh, good.
So I think you turned him over.
Brian Downing will lead it off. You see the numbers on Brian. He's been scuffling a little bit lately, hasn't he?
Really has been struggling. Gene Mock said he's benched him a few games, trying to get his head together, but he's just going to leave him in there and hopes he busts out of it, because he's really been struggling. He's a very intense young man. He just doesn't leave it lay there. He just tries to force it sometimes.
Good fastball by Bannister. Floyd has outstanding ability. He has the good fastball, good curveball. Funny thing about it, though, usually when he has that real good curveball, his slider is not quite as effective, and occasionally he'll throw the change up there, but just a world of talent. Quickly 0-2. No score, bottom of the first inning. Third game of this 4-game series. There's a curveball out in front.
Downing is struggling quite a bit, and he wears glasses some of the time. He'll wear them for most night games, but he feels when he sees the ball real good that he doesn't want to wear glasses. Now, can you imagine when a guy's going through a slump whether he should put them on or not?
Watch out. Little check swing. Fortunately, the fans down there were watching the baseball, and nobody got hurt. Those are the kind right there that can do some damage. Count remains 0-2. A breaking ball hit foul. You know, I was watching Brian in the opener here Thursday night, and then watching him take batting practice the last couple days. Mechanically, he's really not doing hardly anything wrong. But again, it goes back to that old saying, good mechanics will not cure bad thinking.
No, exactly right. Preparation, getting up there and being relaxed.
Outfield spread out straight away. Fastball outside in the count 1-2.
You know how it is. When you get up there and you start squeezing that bat, all of a sudden your muscles and your reflexes aren't working for you, and that's when that pitcher with a little bit something extra can just throw the ball by you.
There's a change. Good motion by Bannister.
Well, right now with 2 strikes on Downing, he's just swinging all the time. He's thinking swing, 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 which is the good aggressive way to go up there. But right now he's at a point now where he's not going to take strike 3.
Fisk moves to the inside, jammed him, made him up with that fastball. Harrelson shading his eyes from the sun. Now he'll get rid of the mask, and he makes the play. Right now, let's go back to New York City and join our buddy Bill McAtee.
All right, Ken, in New York, here in New York, the Tigers have jumped on Yankee starter Phil Niekro. Darrell Evans with his 2-run home run off the Niekro knuckleball, his 12th of the year. And the Tigers, who had 4 home runs last night, have another already and lead the Yankees 4-0. Back to Anaheim.
All right, Billy, thank you very much. 1 out, bottom of the first. There it is.
Phil Niekro, he's the pitcher that turned me into a broadcaster.
A lot of conversation about the possibility of Knucksy going down to Atlanta and managing that ball club.
He'd love it.
Here's Juan Benitez. Takes the fastball back into the upper deck. Foul. Benitez hitting at 286, 4 homers, 19 RBIs. Here's a fellow right here that when he was with the Red Sox organization was an enigma. And it's only been since he has come over to the California Angels that he has come around, and he right now is a tough out at the plate.
I really enjoy watching Juan take batting practice. He uses the whole field. He goes up there and hits the ball to right field, through the middle, a couple of left. He practices like he plays, which I think is so important for baseball players to do.
That fastball got it by him in the count 1-2. Well, again, those are things. Juan, 35 years old now. And you used to watch him take batting practice with the Red Sox, and every pitch he was trying to take it right up in that net or over the net. Consequently, when he got in the game, he was 0-2 and then grabbed some bench. There's a breaking pitch low and inside, and the count evens up at 2. Bannister 0-1 last year against California, making his first appearance this season. In lifetime, he is 3-4. Curveball low. Full count to Benitez. In the outfield, just where they should be. They are fanned and straight away. On deck hitter, Doug DeCinces. Flying right to Ozzie Guillen. Caught it toward the end of the bat, so quickly, 2 gone.
Batting third, number 11.
Here comes one of my favorites. Douglas DeCinces. 34-year-old veteran, 245, 6 homers, 25 RBIs, and still battling that bad back.
It's a problem with him. He hurt it in a game against Milwaukee where he took a step backwards, and all of a sudden it spasmed on him, and the ball club missed him for about 3 weeks. He missed his bat for sure.
Oh, he's made himself into a good hitter. That curveball misses. Well, Doug, in the last 4 years, has backed off the plate, that exaggerated closed stance, and now he can hit some pretty good pitches hard to right and right center. There's a fastball line hard in the left field. Rudy Law with a good jump, can't get there. Gets by him. DeCinces, not much speed. He will pull up in the second and hold right there with a double. So double number 8 on the year for Douglas, and he heard it. Rudy Law still down out there in left field. May have hurt himself when he tried to make that diving catch.
I think he just knocked a little wind out of himself. He seems to be okay. We're going to take a look at Doug right here. He's got that closed stance, but got a ball out over the plate and really served it to left field. He hit a bullet, and the only chance that Rudy Law has here is to try to dive for it, because he never would have caught up to it trying to cut it off. And he just probably knocked the wind out of himself as the ball bounces around off the wall, and DeCinces pulls into second with a double.
That was a great effort by Rudy Law. Last night in the 8th inning, Rudy Law, the White Sox were leading 4-2. Angels had the bases loaded, nobody out. Darrell Skyniers hit a fly ball into medium left field. Now, Rudy Law does not have a strong throwing arm. And some people were talking after the game that third base coach Moose Stubing made a bad play. He did not make a bad play. You've got to send the runner in that situation. And they tried to score Benitez, and Law threw him out at the plate, so it was a double play, and the Sox got out of that jam.
Second baseman, Bobby Grich.
Here's a cleanup hitter, the second baseman, Bobby Grich.
And you might wonder why he's hitting cleanup against the Sox today. Well, one particular reason was last year he hit .720 against the Chicago White Sox. And this year, he come out of a 2-for-22 slump to go 4-for-8 in the first 2 games of the series.
Bobby, 4 homers, 17 RBIs. 720.
Wow, 20. That's even an early wake-up call.
Oh, that's hard.
He's got to have a couple of black and blue marks for 720.
No. Bobby go get you. 1-0 the count. Get that fastball by him. The Sensei, as we mentioned, not a whole bunch of speed out there, so that will give Cruz a little more flexibility in holding his ground and covering more ground at second.
Now, Gene Mock has a ball club made up of veterans, guys who don't move too quick. He has Gary Pettis, who can steal some bases. Schofield, who's been struggling with the bat. He can steal once in a while. But he's going to have to do it with good, fundamental, sound baseball. And they've been a little erratic.
Overall, the Angels do not have good team speed. That's right on the inside corner. A beauty by Bannister, and the count moves to 1-2. Take Gary Pettis out of that lineup, and then you could say they have very poor team speed. Boston straight away in center. There's Bannister way on top in the count. A ball and 2 strikes. Fisk to the outside. That ball's hit in right field. Very playable. Comes down. That'll be it. So nothing across for the Angels. No runs a hit. No errors of men left. After 1, no score. Next Saturday, NBC Sports continues its coverage of the 1985 baseball season with another doubleheader. Yes, sir, another doubleheader. In the first game, you'll see either the California Angels and the Chicago White Sox, or the Atlanta Braves and the Cincinnati Reds of Pete Rose. While in the second half, some viewers will watch the Yankees in Detroit against the Tigers, or the Giants and Padres in San Diego. Coverage begins at 1 o'clock Eastern with Major League Baseball, an inside look. The tradition is here. The memories are waiting on NBC Sports.
For the White Sox, batting 7th, number 8.
Top of the second inning. No score here at the Big A in Anaheim, California on a beautiful, sunny Southern California day. Boy, this is a nice place to play baseball, isn't it, Joe Torre?
It's tough. I said we should get those interviews over with before the rain comes in. There's not a cloud to be seen up there.
It'll be the bottom third of the White Sox order. Darrell Boston, Julio Cruz, and Ozzie Guillen. Saw the numbers on Darrell. Fastball just catches the outside corner. Darrell doesn't particularly care for that one. Boston, good athlete. 22 years old, 6'3", 195 pounds, out of Cincinnati. Quickly, so 1-2 as Boone goes to throw it back, catches the bat and skips off the helmet. The veteran Bob Boone. So the Angels going with 3 signs. Slider inside in the count 1-2, taking no chances. It's getting to be around the American League. I don't know about the National League. Some of these managers are becoming paranoid about sign stealing.
That's for sure. Plus with young pitchers, Kenny, you don't want to get them used to looking at different sets of signs. Now, he gave the 3-1-2 middle sign, the second sign. And because now all of a sudden somebody gets on second base, and now you're saying, all right, man on second, don't forget we're changing signs, and all of a sudden the young kid's got enough to worry about pitching to the hitter without having to think about the other set of signs.
See him point the finger to the outside. He wants a fastball out there, and he strikes Boston out. That's the 3rd strikeout for Kirk McCaskill. You know, Pat Corrales had a good line about that. Pat was convinced that the Baltimore club was stealing his signs. So there was a battery change. He put a rookie catcher in, a new pitcher, and Pat did not know what signs they were giving because they had changed them. So he said, well, in the 7th, 8th, and 9th inning, when I wanted to know what we were throwing, I just looked over at Frank Robinson in the Oriole dugout. Here's Julio Cruz. Pops him up short left field. Here comes Downing. Calls off Schofield. 2 gone. Calling signs when I first came up in 1961.
Charlie Dressen was my manager with the Milwaukee Braves, and I was calling a game for Carlton Willie, the pitcher, and he kept shaking me off, and he never shook me off. So I went out to the mound. I said, "Is Charlie calling the signs for you?" He says, "Yes." So I asked him what they were. So I became the smartest catcher in the world because I checked Charlie before I gave the signs.
Here's Ozzie Guillen, little 21-year-old rookie shortstop out of Venezuela. What a personality he has. Ozzie having a lot of trouble at the plate, hitting just .211, no homers, 8 RBIs, but he has done a job defensively for the White Sox. There's a line shot as Benitez got a bad jump off the end of his glove. That'll be now Guillen on his way to second base. The throw by Benitez not in time. They head for a slide. Good hustle by Ozzie Guillen.
There was a situation right there. Line drive and Benitez playing shallow. And he realized when he jumps, now he wants to stay up because he jumped too soon, but he couldn't make himself stay up there long enough.
Couldn't hang.
Guillen's not having any second thoughts. That play's right in front of him, and he's going to second base, which is a good gamble, especially with 2 out.
Well, Ozzie Guillen has shown the White Sox people a couple of things. First of all, he's a very courageous young man. He plays hard, but he has tremendous baseball instincts. That's a double for Guillen as the leadoff hitter Rudy Law steps in. Takes his pitch right there. Rudy upset with himself.
And I'm sure Tony La Russa likes the fact and has made it clear to Guillen how important his defense is to this ball club.
There's a little looper. Schofield can't get there. Here comes Guillen. He'll score, and the White Sox will take a 1-0 lead. Another 2-out run scored by the White Sox. That is something they have been doing with regularity lately.
Third baseman, Tim Heumann.
You really need that to be a successful ball club. That 2-out hit, and all Rudy Law did was just serve the ball over Schofield's head, and it was 1-0 Sox.
So Law 2 for 2, and that'll bring up the third baseman Timmy Hewlett. And again with 2 out. Unless Hewlett hits that first pitch, you're going to see some action probably from the White Sox.
Pressure. Apply the pressure.
1-3-0 for the Sox. 0-1-0 for the Angels. Foul tipped into the glove of Boone. Well, you know, talking about Guillen and how being a rookie, some rookies come up and they will let their offense filter out into their defense. And that has not been the case in that youngster's. He has done it.
And that's unusual for a young player, because usually if they're not hitting, they mope around and start feeling sorry for themselves. And especially a position like shortstop or catcher or center field, it's so important for their defense to be strong. It's over in Chicago, they gave that job to the Cubs. They gave the job to Dunston. You know, all of a sudden, he wasn't hitting any, and he was supposed to hit, and in the field, he was getting a little lackadaisical, and I think they did the best thing possible was to send him back to the minor leagues to get his head back on right.
There's another fellow that has worlds of talent, Sean Dunston. Law was upset with himself. He bluffed going to second on that last pitch. It was the slow curveball outside, and when he saw it, he just slapped his hands. Another look at McCaskill trying to hold Law close to first base, and as Joe mentioned earlier, all they want to do is just keep you from getting that momentum going to second. That was a little closer. There's so many different ways to approach stealing a base. There's no set way. A lot of people say, well, take a 12-foot lead, take a 10-foot lead, all that is baloney. The best lead is one that you can get out there as far as you can thinking second, where you can still get back to first.
Well, so many runners try to find out the move of a pitcher, so they'll take the one-way lead. And that one-way lead is only back to first. You take a long lead to make sure he throws over there, and you're going back to first all the way, just to see if you can pick something up. Lou Brock never took a big lead, but he had such blinding speed, he'd get the top speed in 2 steps.
Pitch out on the 1-2, nothing all. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Ricky Henderson of the Yankees starting to take those shorter leads the last 2 seasons. Watch out. Rudy had that right knee buckle on him. He may have been going right there. The throw was high.
Well, 2-2 is almost like 3-2 with 2 out. So you know that the pitcher doesn't want to go to 3-2, and the ball's going to be around the plate, and the hitter is going to make sure that he doesn't take strike 3. So he's not as selective as he would be if he was ahead in the count. So the chances of not making contact 2-2 are very remote.
Another close play. And in this situation right here, you got Harold Baines on deck, and Tony would certainly love to have a situation where Hewlett, even Flaw's thrown out. Leading off the inning, maybe setting the table for Baines. There he goes. Boy, what a jump he got, but it's academic as Hewlett strikes out on ball 3. Nothing across for the, check that, 1 run across for the Sox on 2 hits. No errors, a man left, and there it is after. There you're looking at Gene Mauch back when he was manager of the Phillies, you see. Manager of the year 3 seasons, 62, 4, and then 73. And, of course, Gene Mauch today coming back after a year's absence from the Angel job. And what a job he has done.
Gum is still the same. The hair's a little grayer.
But he's a better putter. I'd like to have all the money of mine back that he's got from me on that golf course. That man just, he'll run the table on you. He makes everything with that putter. Tony La Russa now for the 3rd straight inning has come out to talk to home plate umpire Dale Ford in between innings. But they get set to go to the bottom of the 2nd. Sox with a run on 3 hits, no errors. Angels, no runs, 1 hit, and no errors. It'll be Brown, Boone, and then the designated hitter, Reggie Jackson. Here's a good-looking young prospect, just 25 years old, out of San Francisco, 6'3", 195 pounds. Brown coming in, hitting at 250, a homer, 9 RBIs. And he reminds me so much in his mannerisms of Joe Rudy.
Joe Rudy and a little bit of Brian Downing. He's a very intense young man also.
Left-hander Floyd Bannister. 1-0 the count. In the 15 games this year that Mike Brown has started for California, they're 12-3. See Michael with those sunglasses on. Tries to backdoor him right there, misses in the count, 2-0.
Well, Gene tries to use as many players as he can, and I know on the bench today, we were talking about it earlier, he has no right-hand hitters to come up against Floyd Bannister. They're all left-handed.
Hard hit, Guillen sucks it up. Long tag over to first, in time, 1 gone. Well, the interesting part about that scenario with the Angels not having a right-handed pinch hitter to come off the bench. If Bannister were to get in trouble, Tony La Russa has a couple of left-handers in Bobby Fallon and Juan Agosto, who was just called up to go to. But on the other side of that coin, the White Sox don't have any left-handed pinch hitters, so Donnie Moore out in the bullpen, that just fits right into Gene Mauch's plans.
They love to play the chess game.
It's part of it. Here's Bob Boone, 259 hitter, 2 homers, 21 RBIs, but lately he has been hitting the ball well.
From the last 6 weeks, Bob Boone has raised his average over 100 points. He's spread out his stance. He's a little bit different up there, trying to go into the ball a little bit more.
A change misses low in the count, 1-1. There's the on-deck hitter, number 44.
Who's that?
Rahino. Fastball just catches the outside corner. Ball and 2 strikes. See that exaggerated spread, the stance of Boone. Thing about, I was talking with Gene Mauch yesterday. I remember when I was with Washington one year, I tried that big, wide stance. And I'll tell you one thing, if you're going to do that with no stride, you better be looking for something every pitch. You cannot hit from that stance and look for the ball. Check swing, strike on the curve, so Boone. Strikeout victim number 1 for Bannister. And here comes Gene Mauch.
And what you're saying is you better have a pitch in mind, because just looking for the ball and swinging at it's going to be difficult because you really have no movement. You're
right
sort
there.
of flat right there. I think both our managers know that we're on national television today.
Think so?
Yeah.
Every now and then when you were with the Braves.
They both shave, too. I noticed
go ahead and every now and then get yourself a little TV time.
Recognition.
There you go. Larry wants to come in and find out, first of all, if you come out of that dugout and are going to discuss or argue on a strike, call strike, text line, you can be gone. Now Tony La Russa wants to find out what Mock was talking about.
Reggie Jackson.
You see, there's a good umpiring crew right there.
Well, the rule definitely states that if you argue about a strike call, you're automatically out of the game. So Gene Mock, obviously, still in the ballpark. He was not coming out to argue about that.
No. Now Mock back out. I love to watch two guys go against one another. Two good ones. It's fun. It's part of the game of baseball. I remember when I was with the Indians, Alvin Dark used to love to manage against Earl Weaver.
You have to. You have to manage against the other, not only the other team, the other manager. And again, just like a pitcher or a hitter, you try not to get in any kind of a habit of doing things. Try to keep the other manager on his toes.
Here's the 39-year-old veteran, Reggie Jackson. That fastball hit out of play left side.
Reggie's been in and out a little bit, Hawk. He's struggled. He gets his hits like he did the other night.
Well, that was a perfect scenario for Reggie. You had the bases loaded in the opener on Thursday night. In case you just joined us and did not see the highlights, you had the bases loaded, 2 out, 1-1 tie, bottom of the 9th inning. White Sox brought in rookie left-hander Bobby Fallon. Reggie was looking first ball fastball, got it, and smoked it in the left field for the game winner. Hard hit right to Julio Cruz. So Bannister's going to have himself a 1-2-3 inning. And we'll be back after these messages from your local station. California. It's the top of the 3rd innings. White Sox with a 1-0 lead. It'll be Harold Baines, Greg Walker, and then the catcher Carlton Fisk. That breaking pitch high, 1-0. White Sox with a 1 on 3 hits. Angels no runs on just 1 hit. Well, Floyd Bannister. Two and nothing. Doug DeCinces well off the line at 3rd. There you see Douglas. Baines can use the whole yard to hit him. Harold late on that 2-0 fastball.
Well, there's the movement we were talking about on the fastball. And he just doesn't throw the ball straight, which is so important for a pitcher to be able to do.
Three balls and a strike.
That was a case of just trying to throw it too hard.
Chopper right side. Bobby Grich has an easy play over to Benica's, 1 out. Right now, let's go to New York City and Bill McAtee.
Ken and Joe, the Yankees have whittled away the Tigers' lead here in New York. Bottom of the 2nd, Yankees scored 4 with 2 outs. Ken Griffey here with a 2-run triple. And so after leading 5-0, the Tigers' lead is now 5-4.
Thank you, Billy. Greg Walker with 1 gone, top of the 3rd. Walker drew the base on balls back in the 1st inning off McCaskill. .305 lifetime hitter against California pitching. Chopper right side. Another easy play for Bobby Grich. Little 3-hopper. Quickly 2 gone. So you can see the movement just by watching the reaction of the hitter up there, the way they're approaching that fastball off McCaskill.
Yeah, the ball isn't where they started the swing. You know, it's moving on them, and it's moving late, which is important because it's too late for them to make the adjustment.
Well, it's an old saying. You'd much rather face somebody who was throwing 95 miles an hour who was dead straight than somebody throwing 85 who had good movement. Here's Carlton Fisk. He also drew a walk back in the 1st. That's hit to right field. Mike Brown gets a good jump, goes over by the line, makes the basket catch. Nice play by Brown. Nothing across for the Sox. They'll go to the bottom of the third with the White Sox leading 1-0. Yes, sir. Marv Albert and my Dr. Freddie Pacheco coming your way. Tomorrow on NBC Sports World, former WBC lightweight champion Edwin Rosario steps in the ring to take on Frankie Randall in that scheduled 10-rounder from London. Plus, Sports Journal takes a look at fan violence, featuring an interview with Baseball Commissioner Peter Ueberroth. That's coming up tomorrow at 4:30 Eastern and 3:30 in Los Angeles only on NBC Sports World. Bottom of the third inning. White Sox with that 1-0 lead, playing this afternoon for first place in the American League West. Dick Schofield will lead it off. You see the numbers on Little Ducky out of Springfield, Illinois. That's hit foul down the third baseline. And we've talked the last couple of days about, here's a fellow, Joe, just 22 years old. He's got a little pop. 5'10", 160 pounds. He has 5 homers. But when his club, there's that fastball right there, and it's 1-2. When you get a rookie or a second-year guy like Schofield, and all of a sudden he's playing with some namers he's been reading about all his life, and they're going bad, it's awful tough for him to do anything offensively.
Sure.
Ball low and inside, 2-2.
Because, you know, these guys, you know, you're going to challenge these kind of hitters, but unless the other guys are doing their job, and it's awfully tough for a young player like Dick Schofield, or Gary Pettis for that matter, to put the load on their own shoulders. Even though they're the young group on this ball club, they still need guys like that right there.
That curve ball hit off the fist. Fair ball. Hewlett with a long peg. Walker makes the play good. Throw by Timmy Hewlett.
That ball was hit about the middle of the bat, but a tough play for Hewlett. Didn't have the easy hop. Had to catch it on the way up, set himself, and gave Walker a good throw. And Schofield's not that slow.
So the two youngsters, Schofield from Springfield and Hewlett from Springfield, played against one another. And right there, Hewlett wins that battle. Here's Gary Pettis, the center fielder. Pettis with that outstanding speed, 26 stolen bases in 29 attempts, leading the American League. But you see right there, you got to get on the base before you can do any damage. And it looks like Pettis has trouble catching up with a good fastball.
Well, he was sent last winter to work with Harry the Hat Walker on his left-handed stroke, trying to hit ground balls and utilizing the speed, but he has to make more contact. He just is striking out too much.
That curveball dropped nicely in and over. And the count now 1-2. James outside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. That's the last pitch in the world you'd have thought they were featured up there to Pettis.
And Gene Mauch said in the spring that if he could get 100 points of batting average more out of Pettis, Schofield, and Boone, that his ball club would be contending. They're not quite at that point yet.
There's that high fastball. Can't get up on top of it. Right now, let's pause briefly for our station identification. This is the NBC Television Network.
Left fielder, Brian Downing.
This is WOC-TV in Davenport, your best bet for sports in the Quad Cities.
In the bottom of the third, 2 out. And the Angels will go to the top of the order. Brian Downing. Takes the strike. Downing, leading off the bottom of the first, did a high pop-up. Carlton Fisk had some trouble with that high sky and the sun, but he made the catch. That's low, and the count 1-1. White Sox defensively, left side of Hewlett and Guillen, right side of Walker and Cruz. In the outfield, Law and left, Boston in center, Baines in right. As the fastball catches the outside corner. Nice pitch by Bannister. And he's on top 1-2. And you let Floyd Bannister start jumping out on top, and those counts 1-2-0-2. And you get yourself a tough afternoon.
Well, because you're dealing with a pitcher that can throw a number of pitches for a strike. And so when a pitcher can do that, getting ahead really puts that hitter on a defensive with 2 strikes.
Got him. Fastball right there. Downing knew it. 1-2-3 inning for Bannister, his second in a row. After 3, it's the White Sox on top, 1-0. And along with former manager Joe Torre, I'm Ken Harrelson from the Big A in Anaheim. And you know, Joe, of all the baseball games and all the announcers that are around baseball today, I'll guarantee you there's nobody with 2 bigger horns than you and I have got.
You've got it. I've got no hair. He's got the hat.
That's the reason
but
I wear
we both
the hat.
have the horns.
Well, mine's longer. Yours weighs more. But a good ball game right here.
We fill up this booth. That's
there
for
you
sure.
go. Top of the 4th inning, the White Sox with that 1-0 lead. A run on 3 hits for the White Sox. No runs on just 1 hit. That was a 2-out double in the 1st inning by Doug DeCinces.
The White Sox designated hitter Oscar
For Chicago
Gamble.
here in the 4th, it'll be the designated hitter Oscar Gamble. Then the center fielder Darrell Boston and the second baseman Julio Cruz. Gamble struck out with the bases loaded back in the 1st inning. Right-hander Kirk McCaskill out of Burlington, Vermont. So far, he's shown pretty good fastball, pretty good slider, decent curve. But he has been behind in the count. He has skated out of a couple of downs. There's a broken bat. Easy play for Bobby Grich. 1 gone.
Center fielder Darrell Boston.
Here comes up the rookie, Darrell Boston. He also was a strikeout victim back in the 2nd. Good fastball from McCaskill. White Sox with a team batting average of .241, but they lead the American League in team ERA at .348.
That makes up for a multitude of sins.
So when you're managing, like, isn't it great to have that good starting pitching and all of a sudden you got the 1 horse out in that pen? It makes you a good manager, doesn't it?
It sure does. Makes you comfortable with that 1 or 2 run lead.
Just a little late with a swing. The other night at the Metrodome in Minneapolis, Darrell Boston hit a 441-foot home run in the upper tank, only the 2nd one hit up there this season. Up high, 1-2. This telecast is presented by authority of Major League Baseball and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form without the expressed written consent of Major League Baseball as Boston goes down for the 2nd time. 4th strikeout. Check that. 5th strikeout for McCaskill. He has walked 2, given up the 1 run on 3 hits. Well, there you see some of the White Sox fans. Of course, every team that comes in here, it seems like there's always a lot of fans that follow the club. Southern California with a lot of transients. As that pitch catches the outside corner to Cruz. Julio popped up to Brian Downing back in the 2nd. 30-year-old switch-hitting second baseman for the Sox. 1-1 the count. DeCinces in on the grass at 3rd. Benitez halfway at 1st. The outfield short and swung around to the left. Trying to protect against that bunt. That curveball. Boy, that was a good one. That was a downer. 1-2.
Excuse me, Kenny. He just looks like he's settling in. He's got a little more confidence. Just seems to be throwing the breaking ball when he gets even or behind in the count. And he's going after them a little better.
Chopper. He has plenty of time. Makes the throw. The wide throw. Nice shift by Benitez. So McCaskill has himself a 1-2-3 inning. After 3.5, 1-0 White Sox. Yes, sir. One of the great sporting events right there. Of course, that is led by Dick Enberg. Old buddy Dick Enberg and Bud Collins next Sunday at 1 o'clock Eastern, 3 o'clock in Los Angeles, as John McEnroe and Martina Navratilova look to continue their dominance on the grass courts. Right here is the bottom of the 4th inning. The White Sox with a run on 3 hits. Angels, no runs on 1 hit. Juan Benitez to lead it off. Hit a little soft line drive to the shortstop. Right there is a shot by Guillen. The first soft line drive, and there was a rocket.
Now, Juan Benitez, Bannister looking to get ahead in the count. And Benitez wasn't going to stand for it.
Third baseman Doug DeCinces.
Take a look at the shortstop, Ozzie Guillen.
He leaves his feet, but that ball was shot by him.
So Benitez jumping on the first ball fastball. Second hit given up by Bannister. And that'll bring up the fellow who had the first one, Doug DeCinces. That line shot double down into the left field corner back in the first. Benitez with a couple of stolen bases in 3 attempts this year. Takes it inside in the count, 1-0. Been swinging the bats that well. A lot of times Gene Mock, who has had his ball club doing a lot of things, especially with a sacrifice bunt. He's not going to do it in this situation, obviously, but you might see some action. DeCinces can handle a bat as he takes the fastball on the outside corner. And this is where a manager, as you look at Mock, has to become innovative and creative.
And again, it hurts him that he doesn't have the speed on the bases that he'd like to have, because unless you make contact or foul the ball off on a hit and run, you're taking yourself out of an inning. But I know that he wants to get DeCinces, Grich, Brown, you know, and down to Booney. These guys have been swinging the bat pretty well, and he doesn't want to take himself out of an inning.
There's the curveball. Good one. Let it down. DeCinces out in front on the count, 1-2.
And it just looks like Bannister has it all working for him. He's pitching in off the plate to right-handers, which to me is important. There are very few left-handers that'll pitch inside. And I know as a former hitter myself, and you can attest to this if you agree, that it's so easy it's nice to know nobody's going to pitch you inside, because you can just lay on that ball away. But when they come in off the plate, that keeps you honest.
1-2 pitch. Blocked nicely by Fisk. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Well, I always felt like the best feeling a hitter could have is when you can go up to that plate, not worry about the inside pitch, look for the ball out of the plate, then you could do some work. But I'll tell you, Joe, the last 4 years that I played against, I'd rather face the right-handers. Even though I was a right-handed hitter, I'd rather face good right-handed pitching than good left-handed pitching, because those good left-handers, they just get you out. They have this slider that wear your right kneecap out.
And they can't throw a ball straight.
And you don't know how they're going to pitch. They don't think right. 2 balls, 2 strikes, nobody out. Tying run, on at first in the person of Juan Benitez. Bannister does not have a good move to first. There's the curveball. Just missed the inside corner. Close. DeCinces eyeballs it, and the count goes full.
You might see Gene Mock move the runner now. 3-2. You want to stay out of the double play. DeCinces been swinging the bat good. He's on a 10-game hitting streak. So you got to figure he's good for contact right here.
Especially if it's a fastball. If it's a fastball, DeCinces has better than average capabilities of going ahead and making contact. And if it's a breaking ball, it's a good pitch to go on anyway. Especially if it's down. There goes Benitez. Got him on a breaking ball. Fist double pops. High throw, not in time.
Well, the tying runs in scoring position, and it was the breaking ball from Floyd Bannister, and DeCinces was swinging at the fastball. And as you mentioned, Hawk, the double clutch by Carlton Fisk just made it a little bit too late to get Benitez. Even if the throw was down, I think it would have been tough, because he just double clutched back there and just couldn't get a hold of it.
So the 3rd stolen base this year for Juan Benitez, and that'll bring up the second baseman, Bobby Grich. 36-year-old veteran who has hurt the White Sox, especially last year, as my partner Joe Torre just told you, hit .720 against them.
I asked him about that today. He says, I just happened to play the White Sox when I was hot. That's not hot. That's seething.
Ooh. Bobby, good fastball hitter, has good power to all fields. Inside, and for the most part has not changed his style at the plate physically over the years. Very aggressive type hitter.
He might mess around with different batting stances. Carried that over from Baltimore.
Well,
we all have had many stances. I always like to play the bingo game. Under the B, it was 4. Under the I, it was 13. You're going to see Bannister right here against Gritch. Now, let's just take a peek right here what Bobby Gritch has done against Bannister lifetime. Hadn't hit him that well. He's 5 for 24. Now 5 for 25. That's not hit that hard in the left field. Law broke back. Now will come in, make the catch. And that's out number 2. Right now, let's go to New York City and our buddy Bill McAtee.
Hawk, at Yankee Stadium, the Tigers have increased their lead on a balk. Phil Niekro called for a balk in the top of the 3rd. That brings home Darrell Evans from 3rd. So after the Yankees cut it to 1, the Tigers get a break, and they scored another run on a sacrifice. It's 7-4.
Right fielder Mike Brown with 2 gone. Beniquez at second. Brown first time up, bounced out to the shortstop, Ozzie Guillen. Curveball in the dirt. We were talking about earlier the defensive play this year of the veteran Carlton Fisk. Last year, Carlton had that pulled abdominal muscle, and it just completely handicapped him. Worked very hard over the winter. Came into spring training the biggest he has ever come in as Guillen tries to sneak in behind Beniquez. But Carlton came in, gained about 15 pounds, and it was all muscle. And the first thing that you'd have to think about when you see a veteran like Fisk come in that big and that heavy, is it going to slow his bat up? Is it going to kill his range of motion throwing? It has been just the opposite. That's inside.
Isn't it remarkable how so many players, you know, from years ago when they talked about weight training, it was always taboo when you messed around with weights, and now there are so many ball clubs that believe in it, and so many individuals, because it's become so much more sophisticated.
Well, Joe, when you and I were coming up, it was a fine on our ball club if you've lifted weights. It used to be $1,000 for a hitter as he takes a strike, low strike, and it's 2-1. And it was a $2,000 fine for pitchers because they would just get muscle bound. But as you mentioned, the key word right there was sophistication. In the Nautilus programs and some of the universal programs that they have now, they can isolate certain muscles and go ahead and build those up for strength and endurance. And it has just been unbelievable to see what it's done to some guys. Jammed him. Good fastball in. Pops him up right side. Here comes Baines fighting that sun. Makes the catch. And that'll retire the side. 1-0 after 4 right now. We'll be back after these messages from your local station. Right-hander Kirk McCaskill taking his warm-up tosses for the Angels here in the top of the 5th inning. White Sox leading 1-0 in the 3rd of this 4-game set. The Angels won the opener 2-1 on Thursday night. And the White Sox came back 4-2. And McCaskill, one of the rookies. And, of course, you know, when you're talking about trying to win a divisional title, when you've got the Chicago White Sox, you've got the Kansas City Royals, both teams with good starters, Angels looking for another starter. And they have signed right-hander Steve Rogers. He is down at their Edmonton AAA club, and he is pitching today, as a matter of fact. Joe, you know more about Steve Rogers being in the National League.
Well, he had great stuff. I mean, he would win. I mean, his ball would never be straight. Good hard slider, good fastball, challenge hitters. And, you know, he had the bad arm. He hurt himself. And Montreal released him, which surprised me. And I know he threw for the Angels, and they must have seen enough of him to sign him to a AAA contract.
Ozzie Guillen hits the first pitch right to the second baseman, Bobby Gritch. 1 out.
In fact, Preston Gomez, assistant to Mike Port, the general manager of the Angels, is in Edmonton watching him pitch.
Well, certainly everybody, for the most part, always looking for another starter. And when you're talking about a 4th or 5th starter, you're not talking about a guy that is going to go out there and win you 15 or 18 games anyway. If that were the case, he'd be one of your top starters. But if you can get that man to come in and give you 5 or 6 decent innings is all you're looking for in that 4th or 5th starter. Here's Rudy Law. Law, 2 for 2 this afternoon, and also has driven in the only run of this ball game.
And the name of the game is experience. You get the guy going down in August and September who's been down that road before, it helps.
That curveball misses, and the count 2-0.
And I guess when they signed Rogers to the contract, they made an agreement that he'd go 5 starts total to make a decision on to bring him up to the big leagues or, I guess, release him.
2-0 pitch to Rudy Law off the fist. That's going to be a base hit right over the head of Juan Beniquez. Here goes Law, never slowing up. The throw by Gritch, not in time. 1-out double for Rudy Law.
I don't know if that's good hitting, but sure as heck smart hitting. He hit it where nobody was again. And Rudy Law just never slowed down. Again, just like Guillen, the play was in front of him, and he just kept going.
Law with his 10th double of the year, and that'll bring up the third baseman, Timmy Hewlett. Tim has gone out to right field and struck out on a bad pitch. That was in the second inning. Right here, Bobby Gritch is going to have to hold Law close. Now he moves in behind him. And what Gritch will do, is we talked about this earlier, he will make that play once or twice. Then all of a sudden, he will watch the reaction of the runner at second. If he's coming back in feet first, he won't do it. But if he's coming back in hands first, like Law did right there, he will just bury that knee right in front of the bag, and you never get there.
I did that to Maury Wills at first base a couple of times, but the third time was feet first.
Gritch now
about 12 stitches worth. But he was out.
Well, you're going to dance, you're going to play the fiddler.
That's all.
Rudy, boy, he wants to go. 1-0 the count to Hewlett. I mentioned Hewlett can move the ball to the right side. So Gritch knows that. And a lot of times, this is where the runner at second can actually steal off the sign of the catcher if you can find out where the location is. Because if it's outside, then Gritch has got to hold his ground. He's not going to be able to come over and make the play. And so if you're looking at the location you see outside and you look at the second baseman, at that point, then you can get the good lead and the good jump.
Well, Hawk, another thing, with a young pitcher out there and somebody as distracting as Rudy Law at second base, he's not going to really pay that much attention.
Hewlett right there trying to move it in that hole, and the count evens up at 1.
To getting the good stuff on the pitch to the hitter, which is the most important guy out there right now. He's the one that can do the damage. The guy on second base has already done his damage.
Now Gritch wants to come in and tell McCaskill exactly what's going on, and I would imagine as Boone's going to go out there and tell him exactly what Joe Torre was just saying. Look, that man can't score if you get the hitter out. Ball is striking out.
Lou Brock used to drive those pitchers crazy. Plus open up holes for the hitter. If you notice, Gritch trying to keep Law close at second base. Count now 1-2. Some of the crowd here at the Big A in Anaheim, they have been drawing well, averaging 31,624. They've already passed the million mark. Just misses the corner. Good pitch by McCaskill, and the count evens up at 2. Gary Pettis, a few steps over into right center, so that leaves the gap between Pettis and Downing in left. Gritch now comes in. You know, you talk about distractions for the pitcher. It's that there's Bobby Gritch trying to keep him close. But trying to keep the distractions down for the pitcher is Hewlett also has to keep his eye on the pitcher because he...
Uh-oh, pitching out of position. Timmy Hewlett saw it, took a shot that way, and McCaskill gets away with a mistake.
Well, the reason that happened, he sees Bobby Gritch, and he's trying to shoot for that hole. And, you know, hitting's tough enough when you concentrate on hitting the ball. But when you're taking a peek at who's covering second, he missed a good pitch to hit.
There are some guys that can do it. For the most part, they are definitely in the minority. Here's Harold Baines. Good rip at a fastball. Baines 0 for 2. He struck out and he's bounced to second. Baines has had some awful good years in the major leagues and just 26 years old. So McCaskill on top, 0-2.
And they say you come into your prime when you're about 28, so he's got some things to look forward to.
Yes, sir, especially the right-handed pitching and that man on deck hitting behind him. There he is, big man out of Douglas, Georgia, Greg Walker. That's looped out in left field. Downing giving chase, now in foul territory. Can't get there.
Hey, he was running not only into the fence, but I think a fan bending out over the stands got in the way of Downing also. There he is. And he almost had himself a mouthful of hair right there.
Brian Downing. So Baines will tee it up again with the count 0-2. Law at second. White Sox on top 1-0 here in the top of the 5th inning. Gaskell wanted himself a new baseball, one with a little more grip on it. Maybe some more seams, especially on this 0-2 situation. Maybe get some bite on the curveball.
That's it. If he wants seams, he wants a curveball.
Got him. So Baines down, 0 across, 1 hit. After 4.5, 1-0 White Sox. Well, there you see the banner in left and right center fields. It's the silver anniversary, 25th year of the Cowboy here in Anaheim with the Angels, and certainly everybody would just love to see Gene Autry have some success with this ball club. He's quite a guy. That's the story, the tale of the tape here in the bottom of the 5th inning. 1-4-0 for the White Sox, 0-2-0 for California. Floyd Bannister will face Bob Boone, Reggie Jackson, and then the shortstop Dick Schofield. There's a base hit in the left field. Looking first ball, fastball, out over the plate, got it. So Boone aboard.
Designated hitter, Reggie Jackson.
Reggie Jackson hit the ball hard back in the 2nd inning, right to Julio Cruz at second. Reggie with that game-winning RBI Thursday broke a tie for the all-time RBI spot with Joe DiMaggio, the Yankee Clipper. Moved Reggie into 23rd slot. And his next guy that he will try to pass, Willie Stargell.
Reggie is really getting into it. You know, he's DH the last year or so, and he just couldn't get with it. You know, and Gene Mock started this season by playing him in the outfield and getting Reggie more involved, and I think there's more of a mutual admiration society going there.
There's a strike on the inside corner, and count evens up at 1.
He just feels like he's contributing a lot more. You know, he struggled a little bit in the outfield as he did last night. He messed up a ball in right field. But Gene just figures if Reggie's going to help him offensively, he's got to keep his head in the right place, and he feels by playing him a lot of games in the outfield, and like today he'll DH and play Mike Brown out there, but he feels Reggie's more involved and be able to help this ball club.
Well, Reggie, in talking to him yesterday and today, he is glad that Gene Mock is back, and you're right. He's got that feeling, that childlike quality that Reggie possesses.
However, I don't think Gene was too happy about Reggie swinging 3-0 last night.
Well, Reggie had a brain cramp last night. There's no question about that. Yes, sir. Angels were down 2 runs. Reggie leading off the inning, had to count 3-0, and he swung at it. You just don't do that. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Bannister messing around in a dangerous area right there with Jackson. Down and in. Reggie has had good success against Floyd in the past. Coming into the day's action was 8 for 20 with a couple of home runs. That's it. Hard in the left center field. Low on his horse. Can't get there off the bottom of the fence. Bob Boone will be held at third, and the Angels have runners at second and third. Nobody out.
this is what Reggie has been doing better in 1985. With 2 strikes, he's giving in a little bit, not trying to pull the ball. He knows he's got every bit of that right there. It splits the left fielder and the center fielder, and one hops back past Rudy Law, but alertly, Boston to get the relay in to keep Boone from scoring.
Well, he made a bad pitch on it. You give Reggie that fastball down out over the plate where he can just drop his hands on it rather than keep the ball up on him, especially when you got a 2-2 count. Meanwhile, he took advantage of it, and that's what hitting is all about as the shortstop, Dick Schofield, steps in. One to nothing, White Sox leading, but Bannister in trouble. Curveball strike.
They've got Cruz playing about halfway, knowing that Boone doesn't run real well at third base, doesn't run at all. He can, if he gets the ball hit to him pretty well, pretty hard by Schofield, he can come home with the ball, even though he's playing back in double play depth.
Little low. Walker playing in at first. Hewlett about halfway at third. So indeed, the Sox looking for an opportunity on the hard one hopper. We go ahead. There's Dan Spillner warming up for the White Sox down in the bullpen. White Sox still looking for a play at the plate. That's inside in the count 2-1.
This is a contact situation. Dick Schofield has to make contact here. Put the ball out there and play. And it's going to be a heck of a decision on Bob Boone's part to try to score. And if he does, it's important that Reggie tails right behind him to wind up at third base.
That's going to get the job done. Boston goes back in center. Jackson tagging at third. Boone's going to score. Here's a throw by Boston. Cut off by again, and the score is tied at 1.
That was a good piece of hitting on Dick Schofield's part, coming into the game, hitting under 190. And not only does he score Boone, but he gets Reggie over to third with the long fly to center field.
So now you can look for a possibility of a bunt, a squeeze play in this situation with Gary Pettis at the plate. Walker in close at first. Hewlett will come in at the cut of the grass at third. Pettis 0 for 1. He was just blown away by Bannister back in the third inning. Field. Rudy Law now makes the catch. He cannot throw. Jackson will score, and the Angels lead it 2-1. RBI number 12 for Gary Pettis.
Brian Downing.
So the leadoff single by Boone, the double by Jackson, and 2 sacrifice flies. Angels jump out on top. A couple of pretty good gamers right there.
I guess he might have been tutoring Reggie about hitting the ball the other way, huh?
Brian Downing takes a curveball strike. Well, again, in that situation, to Jackson and to Pettis. They got the ball down where they could drop the bat on it.
And he might have been saying to Reggie, Rodney might have been saying to Reggie, when Rudy Law, that ball was hit pretty deep to him. He can't throw. Don't you hurt yourself now coming into the plate and taking that big slide.
Now Downing going at it hot and heavy with home plate umpire Dale Ford. Would not like the call. And the count 0-2. I say this complimentary. Reggie Jackson's like a 39-year-old kid. Loves to play. Has a lot of fun. That's the only way you can last in this game for that long. Got him on the breaking ball down and in. Downing very upset. But the Angels take a 2-1 lead on 2 hits. And after 5, 2-1 California. Yes, sir. Those old-fashioned doubleheaders coming your way again next Saturday on NBC. In the first game, you will see that the Angels and the White Sox are the Atlanta Braves and Pete Rose Cincinnati Reds, while in the second half, some viewers will watch the Yankees at Tiger Stadium, or the Giants and Padres teed up down in San Diego. Coverage begins at 1 o'clock Eastern with Major League Baseball and Inside Look. And the tradition is right here. The memories are waiting on NBC Sports. Greg Walker leads off the top of the 6th inning. 2-4-0 for the Angels, 1-4-0 for the White Sox.
And you're going to get a chance to see some National League Baseball next week.
Oh, I love it. Yes, sir.
In San Diego.
Down in San Diego with Dick Williams. Hadn't seen Richard in a while. That curveball hit hard into center field. Pettis going back, looks up, off the top of the wall. Walker on his way to second. He'll get there with a stand-up double.
Boy, when you say this man is a thoroughbred, you aren't just a kidding. He hit the ball to the furthest part of center field. And the ball was a little bit away from him, but down, and left-handers like to hit that ball down. Pettis prudently stops trying to run after it so he can hold Walker to a double.
Joe, there's the kind of pitch right there that if you're on the sidelines and there's no hitter there, you tell the pitcher that's the way to throw the curveball.
That's right.
Meanwhile, he got burned. There you see Marcel Latchman. Of course, he is the brother of former Seattle and Milwaukee manager Rene Latchman, now coaching third base for the Boston Red Sox. And he's done a fine job with these young Angel pitchers.
And he's taken on a lot of duties. He makes the pitching changes, by the way. Gene Mock stays in the dugout. If Gene has something to say, he'll come out and tell a pitcher, but he makes the changes.
Well, he didn't make that change the other night in Thursday's game. He saw that 1-1 fastball to Carlton Fisk. He went out and got Jimmy Slayton out of there in a hurry. That was one of those don't like what I see pitches. Gone. Here's Carlton Fisk. He has walked and gone out to right. Trying to move the ball to the right side, which he can do. And the count 0-1. Fisk, 15 homers, 39 RBIs, tied with Tom Brunansky of the Minnesota Twins for the American League leadership in home runs. Having a great season. Fisk all-time high of 26, and he should surpass that this year. Fakes the bunt, takes the ball in, the count 1-1. As you see, that's a high for Kirk McCaskill in strikeouts this year.
Now, coming in with 45 innings pitched, he's had 26 strikeouts, 21 walks, which is a very bad ratio, but that's the kind of ratio of winning pitching right there. 2 walks, 7 strikeouts.
Fisk once again trying to move it to the right side. Bobby Grich playing way back with Fisk hitting. And Greg Walker, I'll tell you, he's looking down at Jimmy. He wants to steal third. If Schofield can't do the job and hold him close, he wants to take off. Walker this year has 2 stolen bases in 3 attempts, but that's the kind of guy right there who will be the sneaky steal. Now Grich comes over a few steps closer. Schofield holding his ground, now fakes. Way outside, and the count 2-2.
I think what's important for a base runner to know now, with 2 strikes on the hitter, you don't want to distract the hitter. And if you go moving around too much back there, that hitter's just got 1 more strike to work with.
That slow curveball. Fisk out in front. Count hangs at 2-2. I know I used to hate to have somebody at second base. In fact, very aggressive base runner used to be there quite a bit when I would come to the plate. Reggie Smith. And Reggie would always be looking to steal third. Well, you just have to talk to him. Say, Reg, give me a break. Take it easy out there, especially when I get 2 strikes.
I had 2 guys in 1 year, Lou Brock and Jose Cardinal.
What'd you hit, 380? Joseph could swing the lumber. Carlton on that hanger from McCaskill. Inside out of it. That'll be out of play.
Yeah, McCaskill dodged a bullet there. If it wasn't that Fisk was trying to move the runner, that ball might have been downtown.
Two to 1 Angels on top. Walker's a very aggressive base runner. You wouldn't think so just looking at him. Big, slow-moving guy out of Georgia, but he knows when he gets on those base paths, he's one of the best in the league with 2 out, man on first, beating play in the second. Carlson lining it foul once again. That'll be out of play. So Pudge cutting and slashing up there, trying to get the job done, and this is what you call, even if he does not succeed, a good at bat.
A real good at bat. And usually managers won't ask you to do it past 2 strikes. But Fisk feels it makes him a better hitter. I know it made me a better hitter, hitting the ball the other way. It made me watch it just a little bit. And Pudge can fight the ball off inside, which does help when you're trying to hit the ball the opposite direction.
That's high in the center field. Pettis backing up. Walker tagging. Pettis with a catch. Walker will not go anywhere. Pettis, look at the throw. Walker would have been a dead duck. 1 gone.
Well, what's important for an outfielder to know is get in position to throw, and Pettis caught that ball a little bit too far back and didn't make the real good throw to third base, but Walker had no way of knowing that. He has been playing some kind of center field. He stopped the ball in the air last night and a ball in right center field and just caught up with it and put it away.
Bat of Timmy Hewlett. It looked like a sure double, and he came out of nowhere to catch it. Here's Oscar Gamble. Won the count. 35-year-old veteran. As we mentioned, .328 lifetime hitter against California pitching.
Started his career in Chicago. He's a member of the Cubs.
31 home runs in 1977 with the White Sox. That's when they were called the South Side Hitmen. Big gap in left center. Jim McCaskill with, rather across the seams. There's a base hit. Walker rounding third base. He's going to score as Downing gives chase in the corner. Gamble on his way to second base. He'll get there, and the score is tied at 2.
Well, McCaskill gave Oscar Gamble something to serve to left field. Oscar likes to pull the ball, but gave in a little bit to the pitcher and wound up with the RBI, scoring the tying run.
Yeah, he gave in to the situation. Here's Darrell Boston. Darrell with those 3 homers, 11 RBIs, and 6 of those 11 RBIs coming on this road trip, current road trip for the White Sox. Ooh, had a good hack at that one.
Into the White Sox radio booth.
Warren Brown and Del Crandall, the Major League Manager, the voices of the White Sox on radio. The Sensei in close at third. High with a breaking ball, and it's 1-1. Right here with Benitez playing fairly deep at first base, and the speed of Boston there, you see the Sensei. I don't know, is McCaskill a good fielding pitcher?
He moves around. He's a pretty good athlete.
Doesn't get the fastball. Weak hack by Boston, and the count moves to 1-2. Darrell at this point in his career, as Boone wants to go out and talk to his young right-hander, but Boston still has to be considered an outman. But he will not be in that category in a couple of years. But until he does get out of it, with his speed, he should be bunting at least once or twice a ball game, or trying to. Outstanding speed. High into center field. Pettis. Gamble halfway. 2 gone. Right now, let's go to New York City, and Bill McAtee with an update.
All right, Hawk, at Yankee Stadium, bottom of the 5th, Don Mattingly with a fine bunt. He will reach on a bunt single. Jack Morris pulls Evans off the bag with a throw. Morris charged with an error. That allows Ken Griffey to score. So the Tigers' lead is back to 1. 7-6.
So a good one going at Yankee Stadium and a good one going right here. These two clubs battling for first place in the American League Western Division this afternoon. Sox coming in a half game on top as Julio Cruz steps in. Outfield very short. Even with a base hit right here, hit in just the general vicinity, it's going to be tough for Gamble to score. But right now, let's take a look at the American League Western Division standings coming in. You see the Sox on top, Angels. Kansas City just 2 back. Oakland hanging in there 2 games under, 4 back. Then Minnesota, Seattle, and Texas. Castle slipped on that one. And the count 1-1.
Now, that Minnesota club has really been streaky this season so far.
Well, they've got a lot of good young fastball hitters on that team. Of course, when you get a guy out there with 3 or 4 pitches and he can change speeds on them, they're going to run into some streaks. You can have one guy put them in the slump. Curveball in and over. Late call by Dale Ford, and the count 1-2.
I find that breaking ball pitchers, no matter what kind of velocity they have, can really get by against some good fastball hitting ball clubs.
Check swing. He did not go. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out. Top of the 6th, 2-2 tie. Got him on a fastball, and that'll do it. But the Sox tied up with a run on 2 hits. They'll go to the bottom of the 6th, tied at 2. And it'll be Marv Albert and fight doctor Freddie Pacheco bringing you all that action. Edwin Rosario against Frankie Randall in that scheduled 10-round bout from London, England. Plus, Sports Journal takes a look at fan violence, and that'll be featuring an interview with Baseball Commissioner Peter Ueberroth. That's coming up tomorrow, 4:30 Eastern, 3:30 in Los Angeles only, right here on NBC Sports World. Now, Floyd Bannister, who had to leave his last start after 5 innings up in Seattle. And that's what he's got again with the blister. Boy, those blisters can just absolutely, there's nothing you can do about it. There's the very fine trainer of the White Sox, Herm Schneider, out to take a peek at it. A lot of times, Joe, you know, those pitchers can just cut their fingernail wrong sometime and get a blister. A blood blister forms underneath there. And so similar for a hitter when he gets a bone bruise in his hand, but at least you can hit because you can put a padding on there. And of course, a pitcher has no protection, cannot put anything on that finger to guard against the blister. So Bannister says he'll try to gut it out.
And what really irritates it, obviously, are the seams on the ball. The high seams, they just rub against, and you like to callus it. But sometimes it just doesn't take and forms the blister, and you can't pitch.
Well, there you see today, Bannister with his 4 strikeouts has moved into a tie for 2nd place in the American League in strikeouts with Dennis Oil Can Boyd of the Boston Red Sox, and of course Jack Morris of the Tigers on top. But the blister situation, they try to do it sometimes as right-hander Danny Spillner still throwing down in the White Sox bullpen. They'll try to put sometimes new skin or tough skin on there to give it a little protection, and it just doesn't work. Now Tony La Russa. Once again, I think he's going to make a change right here. Pointed to the bullpen, and indeed he is. That first visit, just giving right-hander Dan Spillner a little more time. All right, a pitching change, and we'll be back to tell you about Spillner right after this. Well, there you see the line on Floyd Bannister. 5 innings, no walks, 5 strikeouts, gave up the 2 runs, and the reason for his departure, the blister. So for the 2nd start in a row, Floyd Bannister has had to leave after 5. And as we mentioned earlier, those things, not a dadgum thing you can do about them. But his replacement coming in, 33-year-old right-hander out of Boulder, Colorado, Danny Spillner. See the numbers on Dan. No wins, 1 loss. Spillner making his 16th appearance. He's worked in 23 1/3, given up 23 hits, 9 walks, 10 strikeouts. And, of course, an interesting story about this right-hander. He really struggled during spring training with the White Sox. And they headed down to 2 or 3 guys, and they kept Spillner. And he struggled at the first part of the year, but in his last 7 or 8 outings has started throwing the ball well. He has the fastball, the curve, and the change. But an interesting point, too, Joe Torre, as we talked about earlier, the only pinch hitters that Gene Mauch has on his bench are all left-handed. So Tony La Russa going with a right-hander as Juan Benitez leads off the bottom of the 6th inning in a 2-2 tie. Curveball high.
Well, what La Russa would like to see if Gene would empty his bench of those left-hand hitters, and then he can counter with a Bob Fallon or a left-hander out of the bullpen to put Gene on the defensive again.
Benitez 1 for 2 this afternoon. That's back out of play, and the count evens up at 1.
But you know as well as I do, the guy that's going to finish this up is going to be Bob James, the big right-hander. Whether the guy's left-handed or right-handed, he's going to have to face the 95-mile-an-hour fastball.
And if it stays like this and you have to start shuffling those positions around and the chess pieces, it'll be Bob James and Donnie Moore out there in the 9th inning. Check swing strike, and the count 1-2. Fastball tight on him, could not hold up. Just got a piece of it. 2-6-0 for the White Sox, 2-4-0 for the Angels. Of course, the White Sox, on the other hand, are without 2 of their players, Ron Kittle and Jerry Hairston. Jerry Hairston down in Sarasota, Florida, with his father. The ball hit to the shortstop. Ozzie Guillen, nice peg over the walker, 1 gone. But Jerry, down in Sarasota with Sam. Sam is a tradition, a fixture in the White Sox organization for over 35 years. Had a serious heart attack, so Jerry is down there. And of course, our condolences to Ron and Laurie Kittle. Had some complications during her pregnancy and lost the child. And Ron is back in Chicago. They will be joining the team when the Sox return home back on Tuesday. Here's the third baseman, Doug DeCinces. 1 for 2. Had a first inning double, and he struck out in the 4th. Big gap in left center. Right on the outside corner of Beauty. So Spillner coming in, throwing strikes, getting out on top. Veteran to veteran. Hit hard in the center. Boston has the play. Big man out of Cincinnati hauls it in. 2 gone.
Second baseman, Bobby Rich.
Here's the second baseman, Bobby Grich. BGO for 2 today. Going out to right, going out to left.
The Angels haven't wasted anything. They had 2 runs on 2 sacrifice flies after a single and a double.
1-0 the count. And right here, Bobby facing Spillner. Got a good book on him. Faced each other a few times. 2-2 tie, bottom of the 6th, 2 out, nobody on. We'll just be looking for something. And he got a hanger and couldn't pull the trigger. 1-1 the count.
Rod Carew was loosening up in the dugout.
We're going to see some left-handers here. Now Bobby says to Dale Ford, the ball's inside.
Now, is he going in the game, or is he getting ready in case they have to pinch hit this inning?
Needs 51 hits for 3,000, Rod Carew. That's hit to the second baseman. Julio Cruz up with it. So Spillner comes in, has himself a 1-2-3 inning. They'll go to the bottom of the 6th, tied at 2, and we'll be back after these messages from your local station. Well, a 2-2 tie here at the Big A in Anaheim after 6 innings of play. And along with Joe Torre, I'm Ken Harrelson. And Joe, something that really struck the baseball world this week was Earl Weaver coming back after a 2-year layoff. What about Joe Torre?
Well, I just want to let the people know I am still working in Atlanta. We're back to Atlanta today. But I don't know about managing. I know one thing. When you're going through with with rumors about being fired, you're dumb, dumb, dumb. And then as soon as you get fired, you become eligible for all the other managing jobs in baseball. So you're smart all of a sudden.
That's one of the nuances of the game, isn't it?
But right now, I think you're stuck with me at least for 4 or 5 more innings.
You got it, Pards. All right. Top of the 7th inning. It'll be Ozzie Guillen to lead it off for the White Sox, and they'll go to the top of the order. Rudy Law and Timmy Hewlett. That's the story. 2-6-0 for the Sox, 2-4-0 for the Angels. Guillen 1 for 2 in this ball game, doubled back in the 2nd, and scored on a base hit by Law. Fakes a bunt, draws DeCinces in, takes the ball, 1-0. So far, the 3rd game in a row, these clubs. First meeting of the year between the two, and it has been 3 exciting ball games. There's the strike. Benitez in close at first.
It just looks, Hawk, like McCaskill had to get over that first major league win because he's going after it today.
Just outside. 2 balls and a strike. Outfield short. Swung around to the left. Guillen was within one of the biggest strike zones in the American League. He loves to swing the bat. Hits that one back through the middle. Schofield can't get there, so Guillen 2 for 3. And the Sox with the leadoff man aboard.
Left fielder, Rudy Law.
All right, manager Torre, you've got a 2-2 tie. You've got a man who's 3 for 3. 2 singles, a double, an RBI coming up in Rudy Law. You got the go-ahead run on his first base. What are you going to do, Pards?
Want me to tell you what got me fired? I would have Rudy Law bunt for a base hit, where the worst you wind up with is the lead run at second base, potential lead run at second base, with the middle of your order coming up. And if he happens to get it by the pitcher, you got first and second and nobody out.
I'd let him hit. Man is feeling pretty good up there. An old axiom in baseball certainly does not always hold true, but you play to win on the road and play for the tie at home. We'll see how they want to play it right here. DeCinces coming in. Chopper. Benitez has trouble now. Goes to second base. A return throw not in time. So you still got the good speed on it first with 1 out.
Benitez had trouble getting the ball out of the glove, Hawk, right here. Otherwise, he might have been able to turn the double play. He double clutched right in there. Gets it over to Schofield. Schofield back to McCaskill, but it was too late. Just like any good pitcher works on in spring training, get over there and cover first base. Couldn't hold the ball, but it was too late anyway.
Well, that right there is the reason that I mentioned I would let him hit because of the speed. Chances are it's going to be awful tough to double him up. But Timmy Hewlett steps in. Timmy's had a tough afternoon. He's had the collar in 3 trips. Pop up to right and 2 strikeouts. McCaskill will take long looks at Mr. Law. Rudy, 77 stolen bases in 1983. And close play. Mercy.
That pickoff throw was right on the shoulder. McCaskill with the good move right there on the shoulder. We can't see his hand. We might be able to see it from this angle. I can't tell.
Well, it got his attention. Boy, a move like that will back you up over there at first base. That was the 100th pitch thrown by the 24-year-old right-hander out of Burlington, Vermont, Kirk McCaskill. 1-0 the count. Now Law gets about a half a step more at first.
See, and Tony La Russa knows that he has got Law on the bases, so if he has him swing away, he figures he can try to steal second and be no worse off if he did sacrifice.
Exactly.
You know, managers, good managers, first off, are open for second guessing more so than not so good managers, only because they're not afraid to take chances. And of course, a guy like La Russa goes by the book. He's got the stats in front of him all the time.
Feel it. Goes after a bad one. Well, what Tony will do, Tony La Russa tries to do the unexpected. And as you just mentioned, the key, Joe, good managers get second-guessed more than bad managers.
Well, I said not so good managers.
Well, you know what? We all both know there's some bad ones around. Now McCaskill doing what he's supposed to do out there, holding the ball, varying his delivery time to the plate, and is working twofold here. Slowing Law up, and also with a count 21 to Hewlett, backing him up a little bit. 2 balls and a strike. Now, as long as he does it in that positive way, if he's doing it out of fright or fear, now it hurts him.
And he's going to hang the pitch. But as long as he's doing it, changing up the rhythm of everything. Step off, throw over quicker, come back, get together, throw, pitch to the plate. Now he's messing up the rhythm of the runner.
Rudy easily back in. What about the managers? That old saying, show me a manager who's afraid to lose a ball game, and I'll show you a bad manager. That's the reason you take chances. There goes Rudy. Had a pretty good jump. It would have been a close play at second.
But again, you're back in your 2-2 situation where the chances of the pitch being around the plate so Hewlett can handle it are better.
And also in this particular spot here, Timmy Hewlett has been swinging the bat well for the White Sox this year, but he's had a tough time against McCaskill this afternoon. And sometimes, like with a hit and run, you do the hitter a favor because you force him to swing the bat, especially when he's having a tough time against the guy.
I didn't realize you were that smart. You know that? A lot more respect for broadcasters.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. There goes Rudy. Check swing. They were not going to throw him out that time.
Well, again, with the 2-2 situation, Hawk, and he's trying to pinch him right here to give Booney a decent pitch to throw him out with. He come in and got him, and the bat just did get on the ball. But a 2-2, if it's around the plate, the hitter's going to hit. If it's not around the plate, then the chances are 50-50. Anyway, the ball's going to be in the dirt when they're not going to throw Rudy Law out anyway. But the game is pressure. Force the other club into making mistakes. Make something happen. I think if there's anything that keynotes the game of baseball is make something happen. You can't stand around and wait for something to happen because you're going to lose a lot more than you're going to win.
Law. Good lead. There he goes. Out of play right side. So Hewlett protecting that 2-2 count and the plate. Law, last 2 times, had 2 good jumps. Now he'll just take his time getting back over there. It is a hot day down on that field. Third base coach Jimmy Leland.
Is he going to give Law a pitch off? A good behavior right here? Mr. Law is getting a workout.
He's had a workout. And not done yet. Rudy with the 10 stolen bases and 13 attempts, as we mentioned. Shorter lead this time. Does not go. That's popped up to right field. Mike Brown will make this catch. Ball halfway, and there's 2 gone.
I don't think there's any doubt that Rudy Law is going to steal a base here or attempt to steal a base anyway. With 2 out and your 2 left-handers coming up, you want to get 90 feet closer to scoring that go-ahead run.
Baines 0 for 3 this afternoon. He struck out twice and bounced to second. Fastball outside. Angel outfield deep, just where they should be. They don't want anything hit over their head.
It wouldn't surprise me to see Bob Boone, even though it's 1-0, pitch out right here.
That's out of play left side. Law faking, bluffing the steal. Held up, and the count 1-1. Watch Law. There he goes. Shot, base hit. Rudy slowed up momentarily. Taking away from him around. He's going to score as Downing gives chase. Finally picks it up, gets it back to the infield, and the White Sox lead it 3-2.
First baseman, Greg.
Well, there's the perfect run-and-hit situation. Rudy Law trying to steal second. Baines getting the ball out over the plate and driving it past Brian Downing. He just did get his glove on it and winds up falling, trying to stand up straight to throw out Rudy Law. But that ball was hit very, very well. And Downing just does get his glove on the ball and really can't right himself in time to keep Law from scoring.
Pitching coach Marcel Latchman now out to talk to McCaskill. 3 runs, 8 hits, no errors for the White Sox. 2 runs, 4 hits, no errors for the Angels. For Baines, his 12th double of the year and RBI number 28. And they're going to make a change. Greg Walker, the next hitter. And the speed in this game has taken its toll here in the top of the 7th. Breaking the action, and we'll be back with the score. Sox 3, Angels 2. Young right-hander Kirk McCaskill, who did himself proud out there this afternoon. There you see the partial line on him, 6 2/3, 2 walks, 8 strikeouts, and of course Harold Baines at second base, still his responsibility. Those 8 strikeouts, by the way, a career high for him. But left-hander Pat Clemens coming on, 24-year-old southpaw. Came in last night. Tell us a little bit about Clemens, Joseph.
I'll tell you, Clemens came to spring training as a non-roster pitcher, and Gene Mock, in search of a left-hander, come out of the bullpen. Took a hard look at both him and Bob Kipper. Kipper started the season with this ball club, but wind up going back to Edmonton. He's got the variety of stuff. Doesn't throw overly hard, but he's got the good breaking ball to go with the sneaky fastball.
Got a good curveball in and over right there to Greg Walker. Walker, 1 for 2 this afternoon, has doubled and scored a run. Another breaking pitch, that's low, and the count evens up at 1. Playing for the first time in 1985 against everybody. He is the regular first baseman. Got a pretty good pitch to hit. Went through it, and the count 1-2. That breaking ball up just a shade. Boone in this situation. Going out just to remind him, look, 1-2. Let's don't make any mistakes. Make the good pitch.
Make him get himself out.
Breaking ball. Nice swing by Walker in the 1-2 situation on the breaking ball going away. Just watching Bob Boone with McCaskill call for the breaking ball. He's just been sitting up right down the middle of the plate. Now he moves a little bit to the outside. Got him on the breaking pitch. That'll do it for the Sox, but they break the tie, scoring up with 1 on 2 hits. It's 3-2 Sox right now. Here's another edition of Baseball Remembers. Well, do you remember this? 1971 All-Star game at Tiger Stadium in Detroit. Reggie Jackson was one of the most titanic home runs in All-Star history. Doc Ellis on the mound from the Pirates. They did not get the camera up enough on that one. That was on that transformer. But watch as he goes around the bases. Trivia. Who's the third baseman?
Look at those flat feet.
Look at that big nose is what I was looking at. My partner Joe Torre was standing there. And, of course, you can see the All-Star game from the Metrodome in Minneapolis on July 16th right here on NBC. Bottom of the 7th inning. White Sox on top 3-2. It'll be Brown, Boone, and then Jackson to face a right-hander, Danny Spillner. Boy, he crushed that one.
Oh, he really did. All I did was look up.
There you see the numbers on Mike Brown. Bounce to short, pop to right. That curveball dropped nicely in and over, and the count evens up at 1. Sox with a run in the second, one in the sixth, one in the seventh. Angels scored their 2 in the bottom of the 5th inning. Jammed him fastball. Guillen got to hurry. Peg over to Walker in time, 1 gone. Right now, let's go for an update to New York City and Bill McAtee.
All right, Ken, here in New York, the Tigers have opened it back up against the Yankees. Top of the 7th, Larry Herndon with a single to center. That scores Lance Parrish and Darrell Evans. So the Yankees are back down now by 3 in the 8th, 9-6.
Thank you, Willie. Right here with 1 out, it'll be the catcher. The 37-year-old veteran Bob Boone struck out, single, and has scored a run. In fact, he started that 2-run 5th off. Boone with that widespread stance. Curveball strike.
Spillner is doing what managers like to see get done. Get ahead, get the first man out in the inning.
Joe, do you find yourself when you're, Joe is one of the voices of the California Angels on television, working with Bob Starr, do you find yourself during the course of a ball game in your commentary and when you're analyzing it, being a little hesitant because of being an ex-manager?
Well, you get a little hesitant at times, Hawk, but you have to remember what you're going to talk about is what you would have done. And managers have so many options in certain situations that what they do isn't necessarily wrong, although there have been times where I have second-guessed, before the play happens, that you have to. I mean, if you feel, and there's one guy right there who is open to second-guessing all the time. He knows he's got this ball club, but he has to really manufacture runs, and he has to do some strange things. And, you have to tip your hat off to him.
That's ball 4 to Bob Boone. So Spillner, that's the first walk issued by White Sox pitching this afternoon, and that'll bring up Reggie Jackson. But here comes Tony La Russa quickly out of that dugout. He's taken that hook-em walk, and indeed he just made the sign to the bullpen. He will go to the left-hander. He has 2, Bobby Fallon and Juan Agosto, who was just called up from Buffalo. All right, a pitching change, and we'll be back to tell you about the new Sox pitcher right after this. The new pitcher for the Sox, the 3rd of the afternoon, 27-year-old left-hander out of Puerto Rico, Juan Agosto. You'll see the numbers on him when he was up with the Sox earlier, 0-1, 7.40 in 16 ball games. They sent him down to Buffalo, and he worked in 12 2/3 innings down there, had no record, 2 saves, 2 walks, and 11 strikeouts. So the situation is this: the White Sox on top by a score of 3-2. Bottom of the 7th inning, 1 out, Bob Boone at first, and here comes Reggie. Reggie 1 for 2, that big double back in the 5th. Agosto not overpowering, tries to nibble out there. Fastball, a sinker, and the curveball. And with Boone, Greg Walker will play behind him. Bodies like that Pearl and Prell. No speed. Fastball tails inside, and it's 1-0.
And Gene Mock again has his hands tied, not being able to pinch run for Bob Boone. He only has one other catcher in Jerry Narron, because his 3rd string backup catcher is Darrell Miller, who's on the disabled list.
Outfield deep. Boston over into left center field. Fastball high. It's 2-0. So Agosto, who comes in many times, gets behind in the count.
And this is where Reggie likes it.
Any hitter. 2-0.
After the 7th inning.
Chopper up the middle. Cruz backs up. The play at second. The return throw to first. Not in time. They get Boone. Jackson at first. 2 gone.
Reggie looked like he had a pitch to hit. Might have tried to hit it too hard. And the ball wound up by him a little bit. Make the force, but too late for Reggie. Booney's mustering up all the speed he can get right here to try to break up that double play. Slid late. The return throws to it.
David Neal, hold that for us, please. Want to come back with that as Dick Schofield comes in. Schofield 0 for 1, had a sacrifice fly back in the 5th. There was a good play by Cruz on that chopper. He had 2 options. One of trying to come in, take it on the short hop, or laying back, getting the 1 sure in this situation. And that's exactly what he did. Jackson short lead at first. Take a look right here now at Julio Cruz. Started in, now decides to back up and go ahead and just make the 1 sure. If he charges that ball all the way, tries to take it on that short bounce, you're liable to have yourself 2 men on. Schofield has good pop. 5 homers this year. Little fella, just 5'10".
That's why it's so important for infielders and outfielders to know who the people are that are running the bases. So when you say to yourself, the ball's going to be hit to my right, hard or slow, you have different things in mind. Preparation. Again, it goes back to preparation.
There's a sinker low and away. 1-1 to count. Reggie not a threat to do anything out there. Once again, White Sox outfielders very deep. Anything hit over their heads is out of here. Hit hard. Cruz backs up. Nice play. He'll make the throw to first in time, and that'll retire the side. Nothing across for the Angels. They'll go to the 8th with the White Sox leading 3-2. Catcher Carlton Fisk will lead off the top of the 8th inning. 27,206 in attendance this afternoon as they have seen the White Sox break the tie in the 7th with a singleton. 3-8-0 for the White Sox. 2-4-0 for the Angels. Left-hander Pat Clements just catches the outside corner. It's 0-1. And we just get a note here in the booth from one of our viewers out there to Joe Torre saying she has a product that will make your hair grow. Please don't laugh.
How's that? It said, please don't laugh, and our director's laughing. You guys think it's funny, don't you?
Outside, 1-1 to count.
I had to work for this.
Well, you've just grown a little bit in the last few years. Going right through your hair, huh? Pudge. As we mentioned, 0 for 2. Pops it up right side. Mike Brown, long way to come in. Glasses down, fighting that sun, makes a catch. And that's out number 1. Pinch hitter now for Oscar Gamble. It'll be the 38-year-old veteran Tom Paciorek. There you see the numbers on Paciorek. Tommy's only been to the plate 79 times this year. Well, you see some of the stats about the White Sox. Men's when they were ahead after 6, they're 23-1. After 7, 25-1. And, of course, after 8 innings, pretty good record right there. 28-0.
Sign of good relief pitching.
Tom takes a fastball high off the plate, 1-0.
And good defense. Like you saw last inning with Julio Cruz on 2 terrific plays.
Back, a little trivia involved with Tom Paciorek, his brother. As that's hit off the end of the bat left side. The Sensei up with it. Gets a nice little bounce over to Benitez. 2 gone. But Tom Paciorik's brother has the highest at-bat in Major League history for the most at-bats. He hit 1,000 He was 3 for 3 in one game with the Houston Astros way back, and then he got hurt over the winter and never played anymore. So with 2 out, that'll bring up the center fielder, Darrell Boston.
Center fielder.
You know, I'm the only manager that Seaver has never lost for.
What was his record with you?
3-0.
And then you traded him.
And we traded him. We had to get rid of him. He was due for a loss.
Darrell 0 for 3 this afternoon. Struck out twice and has gone out to center. Just inside in at the cut of the grass. Breaking ball strike. Three to 2. White Sox on top. Beautiful day. Nice crowd. As that's hit off the end of the bat. Schofield takes the spin over to Beniquez. So Clemens comes in, has himself a nice 1-2-3 inning. After 7.5, it's 3-2 White Sox. It's the bottom of the 8th inning. The White Sox leading California 3-2. And of course, one of the other issues going around, the hot news item, the possibility of the strike. Talk with the player representative of the Chicago White Sox. We asked Richard Dotson what his opinion was.
Well, I would say the situation right now is not very good. The owners have come back with another some finer points on their 8-point proposal, which basically will limit the free agent market, put a salary cap on the teams, and do salary arbitration up to 3 years. I think that the thing we need to do right now is to lock Don Fear and Marvin and some of the Players Association members with the owners in a room for a couple months, and maybe something will be done.
Well, that's Richard Dotson's opinion. But right here, the White Sox have made a pitching change. They're going to their horse in the bullpen, the big stud, Bob James, 26 years old. He is 6'4", 230 pounds out of Glendale, California. And look at those numbers. James, of course, coming over in a deal with the Montreal Expos for infielder Vance Law. And for James, this will be his 28th appearance at mark of 2-2, 2.20 ERA. In 41 innings this season, he has struck out 40 hitters. He worked in last night's ball game, saving Tom Seaver's 295th career victory, going 2 innings and striking out 2. So Bob James as Donnie Moore, we talked about earlier. Chances are in the 9th inning, here it is in the 8th, you'll see those 2 guys out on that mound. Rob Wilfong has come out on deck for California, and he will hit for Gary Pettis. Wilfong, as a matter of fact, hit last night off Bob James, and on a 3-2 pitch, hit a sharp single in the right field.
Wilfong likes to hit the fastball, and Bob James has it to offer. You know, that's like liking ice cream, but you don't want a gallon of it.
Tell you what, he's also got a pretty good hook. He's got a downer that he can just freeze you with.
You got to give him one or the other, though.
Oh, you try to look for the ball, you got to give him one or the other is right. Well, here's Wilfong, good utility player, and over the years has been very definitely underrated. Takes the ball. Sox defensively. Timmy Hewlett at third, Ozzie Guillen the shortstop, right side of Walker at first, Cruz at second. Good speed in the outfield with Rudy Law in left, Boston in center, Baines in right, and a battery of Fisk and James. That's inside 2-0. Last night also Bob James was ripped. Right in the middle of the chest, a line shot off the bat of Bobby Grich. There's a strike in the count now, 2-1.
I play manager again. Right away, I see Wilfong hitting for Pettis. I'm saying, what's Gene Mauch going to do? I think he'll leave Wilfong in at second base.
Pops him up left side. Ozzie Guillen has the play. Now puts his glasses down, makes the catch, 1 gone.
Move Grich over to first and probably play Beniquez in center field.
So with 1 out, the Angels move to the top of their order. Left fielder Brian Downing, who has drawn McCollar. He's 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts. Brian, who now resides in Yorba Linda. Nice little community, about 10 miles from here. He's 5'10", 200 pounds and strong, and he's going to be sitting right on that number 1. Good pitch right on the outside corner to knees. Downing doesn't particularly care for it. Now he's got his glasses on.
You don't think guys going through slumps have some change of heart, so changes of heart during the course of a ball game, during the course of an at-bat?
Downing's having a tough time right now getting his thoughts together. He and Dale Ford have been going at it this afternoon. A little low in the count, 1-1.
The harder you try, the tighter you grab that bat. The tighter you grab that bat, the more you tense your muscles. And he's got some muscle.
Pops him up. Downing out in front of it. Timmy Hewlett right over by the Angel dugout. Makes the catch. 2 gone. That'll bring up the first baseman, Juan Benitez. I would say right here in this situation, glad to see Benitez come to the plate. If you're a White Sox fan with 2 out, nobody on. He's 1 for 3. Has hit the ball hard 2 of the 3 times. Good, versatile player. There's that curveball. Buckle that left knee. Takes it inside, and it's 1-0. Fastball. Benitez losing it out in front of the plate. Count evens up at 1. You see that patch right there on the sleeve of Bob James. Fastball by him right there. Commemorates the 75th anniversary of Comiskey Park this year. Oldest park in baseball. That's hit in the left field. Law coming on. Can't get there. Rudy held his ground just long enough to where he could not recover.
Well, I'll tell you, Hawk, that was smart outfielding there. He didn't get the good jump on the ball, but knowing that the extra base hit is the last thing you want, he pulled up short just enough time to smother the ball right there. Might have been a little more problem on artificial turf.
Well, he was playing very, very deep in the first place. So usually when the outfielders get back in that don't want anything hit over your head situation, their first instinct is to break in.
And that's what you want to do. Late in the game, you want to guard against the extra base hit.
Here's Doug DeCinces.
You want to make them. You want to make the ball club get 3 hits to score a run.
DeCinces 1 for 3, had a first inning double. Off the end of the bat, broke it. Here comes Guillen, steps on second, and that'll retire the side. So nothing across for California. It was a hit, no errors, a man left. And they'll go to the ninth with the White Sox leading 3-2. Well, these two clubs locked up in another good one. It was 2-1 on Thursday night in the opener. It was 4-2 last night, 3-2 here this afternoon. White Sox on top. And, Joe, it looks like there's a good chance that this Western Division can go down to the wire this year.
Well, I think as long as Gene Mock's sanity holds out, he'll be okay, but they don't waste any hits. The Angels are having trouble scoring runs. The White Sox look like a much more energetic ball club. And, you know, it's going to be tough. I don't think it's going to be any different than last year. It's going to go down to the end.
Well, you're very familiar with the fellow Lonnie Smith, who the Kansas City Royals picked up, and that's going to change their whole offensive structure entirely.
He makes things happen.
Good offensive player, huh?
Yes, sir.
All right. Right here, it's the top of the ninth inning. Julio Cruz will lead it off for the White Sox, then to be followed by Ozzie Guillen and Rudy Law. So some good speed coming up for the Sox. That's the tail of the tape. 3-8-0 for Chicago, 2-4-0 for California. Cruz 0 for 3 this afternoon. You see Clemens working from the stretch, as so many guys are starting to do that now. Takes a fastball high and away. And indeed, Joe's commentary on Wilfong at second, Grich at first, and Benitez in center now. for the Angels. That's hit down to the Sensei. Nice little backhanded play. Easy tag over the Gritch. There's one gone. So the Angels now defensively, left side of Doug DeCinces at third. Dick Schofield, a shortstop. Right side of Gritch at first. Wilfong at second. In the outfield, Downing in left. Beniquez in center. Brown in right. And the battery of Boone and Clements. Little shortstop Ozzie Guillen, 2 for 3. Breaking ball misses the outside corner. Ozzie just 5'11", 145 pounds. And when you're talking about good prospects, good shortstop prospects, I think the American League has 2 of the best. And I think without question the first one, as he beats that one right side. Wilfong, easy 2 hopper, 2 gone. But the best shortstop prospect is sitting up there in a Toronto Blue Jay uniform, Tony Fernandez. And then Guillen right behind him.
That ball club seems to be loaded up there. I haven't seen them yet this year.
Oh, y'all haven't played them, huh?
No, we haven't seen them yet.
I'll tell you, Joe, it's an impressive ball club. I think they have the best bullpen, certainly in the American League, because of the balance. As Luis Salazar comes out to hit for Rudy Law.
The Angels have played them, but we haven't done any of their games yet. We do it next time they go in.
Boy, you look at that Blue Jay bullpen. They've got Dennis Lamp right in the role where he should be as a long man. Then you've got Jim Acker. Then you get the left-hander Lavelle, and of course the right-hander Bill Caudle for your short men. Here's Salazar. Fastball away. And of course Mother Nature has taken care of that situation as platooning when they traded for Caudle, giving up Collins and Alfredo Griffith to Oakland. A lot of people thought they had lost a lot of their depth. That's up high, 2-0. But Barfield and George Bell have had another year, another 450, 500 at bats. You don't have to platoon those guys now. That's an impressive-looking ball club.
And they're all young.
3 25-year-olders in that outfield: Bell, Mosby, and Barfield. There's the breaking pitch on the 2-0 count, and it's 2-1. Boy, these guys today just amaze me. They will not give in. When you and I were playing, it was a lot easier. 2-0, 2-1, 3-1, 3-2. Here it comes.
Throw that fastball.
That's hit high down the right field line. It'll be back out of play. Salazar with good ability. He has good speed, good arm, good power, has trouble against right-handed pitching.
But you know what hasn't changed? After they do make an out on a breaking ball, they come in and yell at the pitcher, challenge somebody, throw somebody a fastball. Why should he do that if he gets you out with the breaking ball?
So true. That's it right to the Sensei. So Clements, what a job he's done. Come in, retired to side in order. They'll go to the bottom of the ninth in a good one. White Sox leading 3-2. The Major League Baseball Game of the Week has been brought to you by Ford, who invites you to drive the new Ford Escort. Have you driven a Ford lately? By Miller Beer. Miller, made the American way since 1855. By Schick Disposable, the disposable razor made to stay sharp and shave close, shave after shave. And by Moog Cargo Coils, the car springs that smooth the road and carry the load.
And the Hawk and I got our noses together, and this week's NBC Light Beer from Miller player of the game is Rudy Law. Light Beer from Miller is happy to present a check for $1,000 in the name of Rudy Law to help fight multiple sclerosis.
Well, there behind the White Sox hitting instructor Mike Lorm is our player of the game, Rudy Law, talking to Michael, who has tried to get some of these guys on track. Mike himself, pretty good hitter over there in the National League. But right here, the Angels down to their last 3 outs. White Sox on top 3-2, trying to make it a game-and-a-half lead over California in the American League West. But Bob James has his work cut out for him. It'll be Gritch, Brown, and Boone, the scheduled hitters. Here's Gritch, 0 for 3. Takes the strike. White Sox outfield spread out straight away. 3 runs, 8 hits, no errors for the White Sox. 2 runs, 5 hits, no errors for the Angels. Inside, 1-1. Hit the knees. Good pitch by James, and the count 1-2. Bobby didn't like that call. Right. Ominous looking figure out on that mound as the curveball misses low and away. 2-2. This is the big pitch. The 2-2 count.
First man up.
Fastball hit hard in the center field. Right at Darrell Boston. Glasses down, makes the catch. One gone.
Well, late in the game, last inning, you get the opposing hitters to hit the ball the opposite field or straight away, you're doing your job.
Yes, who's coming up? Rodney Klein Peru.
The Angels batting for Brown, number 29, Rod Peru.
2,960 base hits. He's been hampered by a couple of injuries, hasn't he, Joseph?
Foot. He had a broken foot. He just come off disabled list this past week, but he still had some strain in his foot that keeps him from really putting weight on it.
39 years old. Got two in Panama in the Canal Zone. Curveball in and over, and quickly it's 0-2. There's that good hit by James. Rodney, lifetime .330 hitter. Just got a piece of the curve. Hewlett in close, guarding the line at third. Even on the 2 strikes. Walker, few steps off the line at first. Fastball high and away, and the count 1-2.
Gene Mock is going with his fastball hitting catcher, Jerry Narron, on deck. He will be hitting for Bob Boone.
Curveball got him right on the outside corner. Nice backdoor pitch by James. Carew doesn't like it. Right now, let's quickly show you some other scores of other action around the major leagues. There you see the Dodgers over the Astros in Houston, 3-0. It was the Orioles behind Earl Weaver over the Brewers, 7-5 at Memorial Stadium. Oakland beats Cleveland 8-6. It was the Red Sox as they continue to roll over the Blue Jays, 7-5. Cardinals over the Cubbies, 2-0. Cardinals playing well under Whitey Herzog. Padres shut out the Giants, 1-0 at Candlestick. And that's some of the scores around the major leagues. But Angels down to their last out. Jerry Narron, the hitter. And as Joe Torre mentioned, he can turn the fastball around. Good low fastball hitter. The count. One of the fans just threw a ball out on the field. Nobody has seen it yet. Well, now the umpires call time. White Sox with a run in the second, one in the sixth, one in the seventh. That was the double by Harold Baines, knocking in Rudy Law on a run and hit play. Angels scored both their runs in the 5th inning. Fastball low. And the count 2-0 with Reggie Jackson on deck.
And James does not want to get to Reggie because he would represent the go-ahead run.
You never want to get to 44 late in the ball game when Giedis is on the line. Check swing. And the count 2-1.
You don't want a hitter taking a check swing 2-0 either.
You see more and more of that today. Unbelievable. Walker, maybe a step too far off the line at first as that fastball foul out of play upper deck. And the count evens up, so the Angels now down to their last strike. There's Greg. You can see where he is off that line, and Baines way back there.
Well, they just feel that James, they're not going to be able to pull James down the line as long as he stays hard.
On the 2-2 pitch, we'll see.
Fastball hit deep into left center field. Luis Salazar back on the track, hauls it in, and the ball game is over. So nothing across for the Angels. Winning pitcher this afternoon, Dan Spillner. A mark of 1-1, the loser. Kirk McCaskill 1-5. Bob James with his 16th save. Final score, Sox 3, Angels 2. And for a wrap-up of today's news developments, let's go to Garrett Utley in New York.